Jay, that's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
And the crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dave Montgomery on the Lions, former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Only Football Tonight. We're going to be recapping the divisional round of the playoffs. Yes, I finally am going to talk about the Bears' loss to the Rams. We're going to be talking about the Bills, Broncos, Seahawks, 49ers, and Patriots, Texans. Then we are going to be previewing the NFC and AFC Conference Championship games this Sunday. And of course, we're going to end it off with the Chives with Kyle. Let's get it. America is football. Football is America.
Football is America. If you don't like it, you can kiss your candy ass for the moment in time. I don't give a damn. Oh my God.
No.
You loved it.
30 to 27. Chiefs win. Chiefs win 30 to 20. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Only Football. That's it. Only Football. Where we're going to talk about the only football games left, and there's only two until there's one. And some people are calling the Broncos-Patriots game the bronze medal game. We'll talk about it. I got to say, it's been 10 years since I've been in this game. And you were right when you were talking about, like, do you think the Bears would be the Seahawks? And you're like, no, but we would have had another game. And it's really not about the game. It's about Thursday, January 22nd, being one of the four teams that are alive. Like, it's like, it gets you through another week while everyone else is already sad. You're still going, you know, like you still got that, like, you know, the feeling when you got a game coming up on Sunday, and it's like, it feels great just to be. For 10 years, my season had been over for like a month and a half at this point.
Yeah.
And like, here we are almost in February, and I'm still like talking Broncos football. It's a miracle.
Yep.
I can't wait. There's so much to talk about today, and we're going to talk more about other things in the future as far as like the coaching stuff. We really want to make today about football because there is going to come a day soon where there's no more football.
Yeah.
And we will have a ton of time to talk about the musical chairs that have been played in the last couple of weeks with NFL head coaches. But for now, we're going to talk about football, not because we don't know what's going on, but because we're going to get tunnel vision here intentionally. And we're going to start with recapping the divisional weekend, which had Bears losing, unfortunately, to the Rams in a game that felt the whole entire way like maybe the Rams are going to win until Caleb Williams ran backwards 40 yards and slung the ball in a perfect spot to the tight end that a lot of people have forgotten about because of third and Loveland. No, it was not third and Loveland. Who was it, Rick?
It was Cole Kmet.
It was Cole Kmet. A guy that has been a Bear for maybe the longest tenure Bear on the team. I don't know.
kind of getting to that point. Yeah.
Kind of getting to that point. I'm sure there's maybe one or two others, but that's it. And there he is holding the ball in the end zone. And we're like, okay, so the miracle thing is going to keep happening. And I had been talking about this all year. You and me kind of experienced similar stuff. I will say what I learned in the Bears-Rams game, and you can push back on this if you want, is that I thought all year the Bears and Broncos were pretty much the same team because it's happening at the way end of the game.
Yeah.
But for some reason, watching that Bears game and seeing how Caleb threw that touchdown to like send it to overtime, I said, I think it's a disservice to the Broncos to say this is how we've been winning. Like, we haven't quite been winning like that. Like, you know, and not to say it's not amazing. It's amazing what the Bears have been able to do, but it does feel like a little bit of the Broncos season with Tim Tebow winning a playoff game. And it was like, how are they doing this? It's like it's magic. You're like, you can't put your finger on it, but they do it at the end. And the Bears, though, they learned how to have a winning culture this year. They learned that Ben Johnson was the right head coach, and they learned that they had the right quarterback. And I think that is really all you need, except for a good GM and owner, but we'll just settle for a good GM for now. I think the Bears are in line. Now they got to play a first place schedule, and I'm sure everyone's talking about how much harder the road's going to get, but the Bears are going to get better too. They said the same shit about Denver last year, and I told you guys we were going to be here playing the Rams in the Super Bowl. I told you in July. Well, it might be 3 more days, and we'll find out. It might be Broncos Rams in the Super Bowl, which would be awesome. Like, just who does that? Who nails the Super Bowl pick? It just doesn't happen, right?
It's exciting, yeah.
It's very exciting. But Rick, you've had time to kind of process this. It's Thursday. The game is Sunday night. I know how important those days are to gather thoughts. So I'm really interested in hearing your takeaway from the game itself, where the Bears at right now, and if you still feel, obviously you feel disappointed, but like, what's your overall, I guess, temperature with where the Bears are Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, 9:32 p.m. Central Time.
I mean, overall, man, it's one of those feelings where I think you had this last year, and it was an early exit for the Broncos, but you knew in your heart and in your brain that you're moving in the right direction, right? Like, you can even point to the Panthers and say the same thing with Canales and Bryce Young. But for me, it was exciting. And you said it at the very top. It didn't matter whether the Bears won this Sunday and we're going up against the Seahawks after the Seahawks absolutely clobbered the Niners. Going into that game thinking, well, we're just going to get smoked. What was important was that you had 7 full days to soak in the fact that your team is one of the final so-and-so teams left in the NFL still playing football. And that, I think that is what really kind of ripped it out of my heart on Sunday night, because a lot of you guys that are here, Ginge, Lil E, Nick, Daniel Barry, thanks for being here. A lot of you guys saw me just kind of even tell Kyle, like, can you wrap this up? I don't know what else to say, because I just kept saying the same thing over and over and over. And it's like, oh, Ben Johnson's play call, this and that. Why are we throwing it? And it was one of those things that really hurt. And at the beginning of the season, I had the Bears finishing 3rd in the division. I had them going to a wild card. But as the season progresses, week 10, week 11, week 12, the playoffs and even the division started to become a real goal that could be accomplished. And then once we secured the division, it was on to, we can win a playoff game. And if we can win one playoff game, how many more could we win based on how the season went, to how you mentioned where the Bears were never down and out under 2 minutes. They never were. The Bengals game really was the one that started it all. Then you go into the Packers game, a couple other games that you're just like, wow, the Bears are this ridiculous come from behind team where they're never out of it. And they have the players, they have the mindset, they have the culture, which is even more important, I think, the culture, and they got the quarterback and the head coach. So as we were going along the season, this is kind of like a recap / divisional recap, but
no, it's good. It's good because the same thing happened to me last year where I was like, if we just get to a wild card game, because I thought we were capable of winning 10 games, but once we were like, we won 10 games and we were in the wild card round, I was like, I really feel like this team could do it this year. And it does. You change
Yeah.
because you get more data. It's not like you're moving the goalpost in a negative way. You just gathered more information, whether it be the parity among the NFL. There's not a runaway team in the NFC. It's up for grabs. The Bears are playing better than I expected. Why wouldn't you change? You know?
Yeah. And we won 11 games and we lost 6. When you take that into a season and you're like, out of 17 games, you're only losing 6, and you're losing those pretty few and far in between. Obviously, the first 2 weeks were very much a downer, but just that week 3 and on, we only lost 4 games. Like, to say that as a Bears fan, especially what we've been through over the last 5 or so years, is like a crazy thing to say. And it all was built up into that wild card weekend against the Packers. And then the Bears come out and their second half defense and offense are just both amazing. And then you come back and you win it. You beat your division rivals in the playoffs for the first time since 2010. In over 15 years, you beat them. And the rivalry has been reignited. You take 2 of 3 in one season from the Packers in a rivalry which over the last however many years has been clearly one-sided. Honestly, over the last 20 years, I would say, has been clearly one-sided with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love and LaFleur and so on and so forth. So you beat that team and then you move on to the divisional round, which again, you haven't been to in over 15 years. And then that game happens. And I'm confident throughout the entire time. And then Caleb throws that dime pass from off his back foot, rolling back, pedaling back to the left corner end zone to Cole Kmet, who you had said is one of the longest tenured Bears here and feels like the longest tenured Bear here, which I think might be true. At least I believe he's at least top 5. And I watched that. And I'm pretty sure I said it on the stream. That moment right there for Cole Kmet must have been the greatest moment of his Bears career because he had never made it to the playoffs with the Bears. And they finally get there, and you have this crazy last-second catch moment in front of your home crowd to send it into overtime where I and every other Bears fan was thinking, gotcha. We got you, Rams. We gotcha. You got us to overtime. This is where we win. And then it all comes crumbling down because of a play call. And at that time, you can clearly see on the stream in my face that I was absolutely heartbroken. I was mad. I was frustrated. I was sad. All of those things balled into one that just turned into somewhat of a tirade against Ben Johnson. And then, like you said,
it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad, I don't think.
Yeah, and mostly it was his play calling choice, which I think
that's my biggest problem with him is that he didn't go for 2 because, look, you're supposed to go for 2 when you're playing a better team. And to be frank, like the Rams were the better team. The Bears were going to win the game because of home field advantage, the cold weather, and exactly what Caleb did on 4th down. There's not a moment in the game that you could even manufacture that could get you the amount of momentum that one play got you. And then with that momentum, you have to you have to capitalize on that freaking momentum.
Yeah.
And you had a 2-point conversion attempt and the game's over if you get it. And it's like, that is a dream 2-point conversion scenario. Like most of the time, if you're going for 2, it's scary. When Caleb throws that pass, there's not a person in that stadium that would have thought we're not getting this.
Yeah.
And I get it. The Bears were not good situationally in short yardage goal line situations in that game, but they weren't coming off that previous play all game either.
Yeah.
So I just felt like Ben Johnson's been this guy all year. You're telling me if that was week 17, he would have kicked the extra point? I'm calling your bluff. There's no way in hell. There's no way. There's
Mhm.
no way, dude. Like, this guy's going for it on 4th down in his own 30. You're telling me if that was in a playoff game, he wasn't going to go for 2 right there? It was
Yeah.
gold. I'm sure he would have. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you don't change your identity in the postseason. It drives me crazy that he didn't go for 2, because I feel like I was robbed of a moment.
And I think too, like, had he gone for it, like you said, I think the momentum is in the Bears' favor. And if that's the way we're going to lose, right? Because there was probably like 13 seconds left, whatever. If that's the way we're going to lose, at least we went out the same way we've been going all season. And even the first quarter, first half of that game, where Ben Johnson was going for it on 4th down. And it was heartbreaking. All this to basically say, like, I have zero hate. I have zero regrets about Ben Johnson being the head coach, because every week, every single time the Bears won, after every game, I'm waiting for that good, better, best video, that post-game locker room video from Ben Johnson. I'm waiting for that. And you see Bears fans talking about it, good, better, best. Where's my good, better, best video? All year, it was like, that is what the culture is. Good, better, best. Were we good? Yes. Could we have been better? Yeah. And we're striving to be the best. And that's kind of the message every post game that Ben Johnson was driving into these guys. And even in his press conference not too long ago, whether it was today, yesterday, the day before, he was saying, we're not going to build off of this. We're back to square one. We're back to the bottom. And I think that's such a powerful message from a coach who his first year led the Bears to a playoff win in over 15 years. And I think it's such a powerful message, because it's basically him saying, like, what do you mean build off of this? We didn't
Right.
win anything. We accomplished some goals, but the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl.
I mean, you know what he means. Like, go to the conference championship next year.
Or even that. But
I get he's trying to say that he's dissatisfied, right? Is that like the main takeaway? Is like, we didn't accomplish anything?
I think it's mostly kind of like when Kobe was like, job finished, job's not done, job's not finished. You know, and as a Bears fan, I love it, because a lot of coaches.
I get it. I also don't, but I
think it's definitely one of those, like how you said, like, he's not satisfied, and he showed it throughout the season that just because we get a pick 6, we're not satisfied. Has the game over? Is it hit triple zeros? No. Have we won the game? No. So we're not satisfied. His sideline reactions when you get a pick 6, when you get a touchdown pass from Caleb that is off the flea flicker that goes 60 yards or whatever. Have we won the game? Yes or no? Yes. Awesome. No. There's nothing to celebrate about. There's nothing to build off of. I can understand that messaging, because it just keeps the players honest with themselves. It's like, look, did we do something awesome? Yeah. Do Bears fans love us? Bears fans, at the end of that heartbreaking game, and even just now thinking about it, it still breaks my heart. After that, at the end of that heartbreaking game, are giving a standing ovation to the team as they walk through that tunnel. And there's just a huge crowd of Bears fans in those stands, giving them their standing ovation, because the fans realized what type of leap they took. But Ben Johnson, his staff, all the way down to the players, are not happy with the result. And honestly, it feels good to have a coach like that.
Yeah, I mean, I fall in the middle, but I guess that doesn't really matter what I think. I mean, I think you want your players. I mean, I don't know. Like, I like the old school. I don't know if it's even old school, but I like the fact that he's not content with being eliminated in the divisional round. I would
at home.
That would be embarrassing if he was. And at the same time, it's your first season with a team that won 5 games last year, and you were a couple plays away from the NFC Championship. I think there needs to be something verbally, publicly spoken that lets your guys know, like, this
So
is something we can build off of? Because, I mean, that's how championships work. I mean, Mahomes, maybe the greatest ever, lost to Brady in the AFC Championship. Guess where he was the next year? The Broncos beat by Buffalo in the wild card round last year.
beat
Sean
them this
Payton
year.
finished the press conference saying, we need to find a way to play this game here in Denver. And 1 year later, they're hosting as the 1 seed, the Buffalo Bills, and beating. So, like, I don't really know any examples of what Ben Johnson's really referring to, because even if he were to win the Super Bowl next year, he built off of last year. It's kind of like, we're going to just like, I just think, like, okay, is that just a unique way of saying we're not going to be content? Because if that's all it is, then, like, I don't know, just say that.
I think it's and we've talked about this before, like what you say in public as really just a person, as somebody who is a media, not a media, but a person in a who faces the public, right? And in this case, it's Ben Johnson. I think there's differences between what you say out in press conferences, post game, whatever, and then there's things you tell to your players. Because I really do think he told his players, you guys did a great job, right? You guys won. You guys, and he wasn't here last year. You guys won 5 games last year, and then you came back and you won 11. There's obviously something there, but
coaching
and coaching is probably the biggest one, and understanding how to use your talent too, as a coach. But I think when he says that out to the public in press conferences, like, we're back to square one, the players know what he means when he says that, but the media doesn't know what he told the players. And I think that is a sign of strength, because I think I remember once we were talking about one coach being like, yeah, I called up this coach to ask him for advice. And
Matt
we were talking about it.
Sean McVay.
No. This was last year, I believe. I'm pretty sure this was last year, if not early this year. And I think it was one of the either a first or second year head coach. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. Hold on.
Raheem Morris, I want to say.
Nope. It was Aaron Glenn with the Jets, and it was with the Justin Fields quarterback controversy.
Yes.
He didn't say who he called. He just said that, it's his first time in this situation, and he wanted to reach out, which everyone attacked. And I said publicly, I applaud it. I actually like, I get it. I could argue against myself here, but I'm just saying it was kind of refreshing. It was like the girl that was like, you the man, you the one, after
with Liam Cohen.
It's like everyone hates that too. Everyone hates everything. Why can't we just love stuff once in a while?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And there's going to be opinions on either side, and I totally get that.
But he put himself in a bad spot when he did that, because he was attacked for an entire week.
Correct. And my argument with that was, like, it kind of does make you look a little weak, right?
Unqualified.
Or unqualified. Yeah. Like asking for help. And that's totally fair. It's my opinion. And you have a differing one. And
I actually agree with you. I do agree with you. Like, it is, I guess I like that he's asking for help. Maybe not as much that he's like being public, but I like the transparency. I also think as a fan, it's like, at least you know where your coach is at. He's learning. He's being open and honest. Like, okay, so this is where my coach is at. I don't have a ton of confidence, but, like, what would be different if he didn't say this? Do you think coaches don't call other coaches? Do you think Sean Payton doesn't call Bill Parcells?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, of course he does. But 100%. If he went to the podium and said it, people wouldn't have the audacity to say, but when you're a rookie head coach, it looks a lot different. Yeah, because they're like, okay.
And that's where I think the difference was this year, because this year with Ben Johnson, post-game press conferences, which I'm not totally a fan of, post-game or even just during the week. I don't know. I find them just a tad bit boring enough to where I don't really watch them all, and I kind of watch the main clips. But regardless, like with Ben Johnson, compared to 2.5 years of Eberflus, is like winning 5 games and then winning 11 games. That's literally the difference. Is like, that's how I feel with Ben Johnson as the head coach of the Bears. So all of this to say, really, it's. I love Ben Johnson. I love having him as my head coach. I love Caleb Williams. I love the hate that he gets, and I love how good that he
Yes.
was this year. I just enjoyed the season as a whole, and it ended on a very heartbreaking note. I don't want to say sour. I don't want to say shitty. It's a heartbreak. It's a heartbreaker. You know, you're at home and you end the season with an interception. You don't love that, but in the moment, I don't think you should love that. I don't think post game immediately you should be like, well, we had a great year, right? And it's like, I think we should all, as fans, and really as anybody, when you deal with some sort of heartbreak, I think you should feel heartbreak. I think you should feel sadness. I think you should feel frustration. I think you should feel everything. And then 4 days later, like I'm doing now, I can be like, that was a hell of a season. I've never been happier as a Bears fan. I've never been so excited for Bears games in a really long time like I was for this year with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze and Zacchaeus and Loveland and Swift and Monungai and
love your
Kmet.
team. You love
and
your
you
team.
love your team.
When
Yeah.
you name that many players, I've been there. I'm like
Mhm.
in Simmons and Benito and like and it's
Mhm.
like I know when I'm talking to a fan and he does what you just did, that whatever that run-on sentence was with all
Mhm.
those names,
Yeah,
that only happens when you love your locker room.
exactly.
Like I've spent a lot of years being like, yeah, there's like 3 guys I really like, you know. Like, I mean, but when you list your like your boys and it's like 9
Everyone, yeah.
yeah, it's like, okay, so the whole defense, it's like, yeah, man, I just love these guys. Like truly, like I care about them like more than you guys would even understand, or maybe even like, is it even like what do you call it's is it what do you call a fear that's it's not justified, it's a
I think I know what you're saying. Like like it's probably never gonna happen to you. Like the chances of it are,
it's a
yeah,
I just told Mary yesterday that she had
yeah.
it on that's it.
What
God, this
is?
is
Yeah,
gonna
I know
bug
what you're saying
Mary.
though. I know what you're saying. It's such a
You know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah, because you're like, oh God, well, what if we don't make it next year? And you're like, what do you mean, dude? You have all these players, you have this great like base and this great foundation, and you're gonna be fine. What you're thinking of is like this fear that is almost you shouldn't even think about it. You shouldn't even think that it's gonna happen because it's probably not gonna happen. And like you said, just naming all these guys, this whole season in general was awesome. And credit to the Rams for, getting the ball first, having to punt, and then doing what they did to get the ball back and winning that game with a field goal. I mean, credit to the kicker, credit to Stafford.
Irrational.
Irrational. Yes, there you go.
Yes,
Irrational
when I
fear.
was saying you love your team almost to a point where it's irrational, like,
Oh, yeah.
like you don't know them, you didn't go to school with them, they're not your boys, you don't call them,
Mhm.
like,
But
but
you're just
you
happy
love
about
them.
it.
But
Yeah,
yeah, like
I love
I care for them so much.
yeah, and there's things that you can look at as a fan and be like, no other fan of another team knows this. Like, for example, like Luther Burden, if he catches the ball, he's getting 5 yards extra from the moment of attack. From the moment he gets touched, he's getting an extra 5 yards. No doubt about it. Third and Colston, third and Loveland. He is your guy. Cole Kmet is gonna block for you, and he is just gonna get those balls when you need to get those balls, like the 2-point conversion, and he immediately got hit by a Packer last week or during the wild card game, and you're like, anybody else, they dropped that, but not Cole Kmet. Caleb Williams, he's gonna get in the zone under 2 minutes and down a score. Like, this is just stuff that you know about your team. So just
Can I end it on a funny note?
yeah.
So I was thinking, I was like, I'm gonna have to preface this with like I'm not making fun of Caleb Williams, but I was doing my laundry and I thought of a scene and it was so funny because if I could caption this, it would be Caleb Williams throwing one of the most impressive throws in NFL history. Caleb Williams at midfield in overtime. You're going to like this, I swear. Be a good sport about it.
Iceman!
I was like, why haven't I seen that trending anywhere? That's hilarious.
Iceman.
I clipped
Yeah.
it myself. I'm like, that should have like. I'm surprised nobody thought of that. You know,
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, yeah. And overtime, yeah.
but no,
Like the two faces of Caleb.
right. But like on a real note, like like you grow through pain. Like next year, he's in the playoffs. I know this happened with my team. They're like, the Broncos released this thing. It's called the cinematic recap, and the players are mic'd up. And you know that third down where Buffalo, if they would have scored, they went up 10. But if they kicked the field goal, it's a 6-point game or something like that. Well, it was like one of those gotta stop with 4 minutes left, and it was 3rd and 4. And Alex Singleton huddled the defense up, and he was like, "We did not come this fucking far to go home right fucking now."
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pain from last year. Like, that's like, I know what it feels like to be one and done in the playoffs. We're not doing that again. And I guarantee you next year, if the Bears are in the situation at midfield, Caleb Williams is going to think twice before assuming that, the receiver is going to do this. And it's just, that's how you grow. Like, I know it's crazy to say, but like you can't take it away. As a matter of fact, like if Caleb goes on to win 4 Super Bowls and you could butterfly effect, go back and take this throwaway and then you find out in the future he only won 1 Super Bowl. It's like you never know like how these things play a major role down the road.
You'd rather take that pain for that success.
And that's coming from a person that knows a lot about pain right now with the quarterback, but I'm going to talk about that later because I have more optimism than ever. But I'm happy, dude, that you and I can be happy.
I know. This whole season was like a build up to this, and I'll end on this note here for Bears Rams, just because we do have to move on. But
yeah,
you said it where you're just like, again, it's just about the fact that we have another game. Last night, I watched the entire 55-minute video the NFL put out about Caleb Williams highlights. And that is when it hit that I won't be able to see more of this Bears team, specifically the offense, anymore. And it hurt a little bit, but watching that, you're just like, God, that was a sick throw. Man, that Bengals game. Oh, that flea flicker from the Cowboys. Oh, wow, that throw to DJ against the Packers to beat them in week whatever. That shootout game in San Francisco, like it makes you appreciate it, but it also gives you that kind of like what's that phrase? Like the sweet and sour, where it's like that was awesome, but it sucks because we won't be able to see
bittersweet.
The bittersweet. Thank you. Where it's just like, I'm not going to be able to see that anymore this week because the Bears are no longer playing. But man, what a season. What a season that was. And I'm happy about it. And I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the off season, one where we're going to be able to actually improve and become a destination spot for possible free agents. But it's just going to be awesome to be in that situation moving forward. It sucks we won't play football, but it's only up from here.
I couldn't agree more, dude. And I think there's like clearly franchises right now that are like heading in the right direction. As a matter of fact, think about this. I mean, if Caleb Williams wins now, that means that there's 4 quarterbacks selected in the 2024 draft class that have all played in a conference championship week in their first 2 seasons. 4 quarterbacks. Caden, Caleb, Drake May, Bo Nix. Well,
Bo Nix. Unfortunately, he made it, I mean, right? But he got you there. Right. And here's the thing. Like, I understand, like, Bo Nix isn't going to play in this game. But who the fuck got you there? It was Bo Nix all season.
Right. Like, you will always be like, I mean, if anybody's like, look, if anybody uses like this whole, like, oh, he's never played in a conference championship, like, no one's going to take that serious. I mean, it's like, okay, like I guess he didn't play in it, but like he could have, like he did what he beat. You get it. Like I don't even know how to put this into words. It's just so dumb. Like it's so dumb. It's not even worth like correcting.
You're
it's like,
there. You
it's
got
like,
there because of him.
Yeah. I mean, Bo Nix outplayed Josh Allen. And that is just what it is. If you don't like it, go back and look. I mean, 3 of his touchdowns were like 40 yards or more. He was throwing it on what was statistically the number 1 passing defense in the NFL. And we didn't even have a running game. So like these quarterbacks, dude, they got their franchises going way up. And then you got teams like the 49ers, the Eagles, Packers, Lions, these teams that have dominated the first part of the 2020 decade. And it really does feel like maybe the 49ers and the Eagles have peaked. And
I was going to say,
case, like, there's no shame in that. The Eagles got a Super Bowl out of it, but like, but I just think like these younger teams are like, okay, like watch out, you know, like we're here now. So I hope you took advantage of the window because it's gone.
And that's the thing too. Like the Rams won a Super Bowl and have been in the playoffs pretty consistently. The Seahawks were not in the playoffs last year. The Bears were not in the playoffs last year. The Broncos were beaten in the first round. The Patriots, I don't believe, made the playoffs last year.
They won 2 games, so no.
Oh yeah, exactly. The Jaguars, the Panthers, like you're starting to see, and we talked about it pretty much damn near all season, is that parity, and it's starting to switch a little bit. I mean, even with like the Kansas City Chiefs before they were what they were, and as we know them today, it was like, oh, the Kansas City Chiefs are moving into Super Bowls against Tom Brady or AFC Championship games. They're moving into dominating in Super Bowls. They've won 4 Super Bowls or whatever in the last however many years. And now you're starting to see that change. And what was that change? It was Patrick Mahomes. It was Andy Reid. It was Travis Kelce. It was all these younger guys who got on the team and started making a difference. And now you're seeing that with the Seahawks, with the Broncos, with the Bears, with the Patriots, with the Panthers, with the Commanders. You know, obviously they're going through their rough patch this year, but you're starting to see another kind of turn of the tide. And whether or not we'll see guys like Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, and the Rams back in the next couple of years, whether or not we'll see Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid in the next few years or whatever the case may be, you are starting to see that shift. And it is nice. It is refreshing to see that, but eventually it's going to be like Mahomes. And people are going to hate it, but it is what it is.
And to be honest, and I know that this is going to be controversial, and I'm stoked about it. The Tom Brady thing, like, is he the GOAT? Yes. Undisputed, got 6 rings. However, I think 7. I think that had Josh Allen, Mahomes, I mean, I'm not kidding when I say John Elway, Aaron Rodgers, I could go on and on. Drew Brees, maybe, Dan Marino, I think if you put any of these, like Stafford, let's do Stafford. If you put Stafford on that Patriots team for that run, I think Stafford wins the Rams Super Bowl 20-17. I think Stafford wins the Patriots Panthers game. Who knows? They put up 32 points, but like the Giants, I mean, they lost to the Giants twice, right? The Falcons won. I'm going to give that to Tom. I'm giving that to Tom, and I don't know if anyone else could have done it. So I'm giving it to him. My point is that the Patriots played in a conference with, or a division with 3 terrible teams, and they were always the 1 seed, which means they're playing the worst team in the divisional round. And then they just have to win the conference championship at home, and they're in the Super Bowl. And then it's just like, okay, 1 win and we're champions. I'm not saying the path is easy. And I'm not saying Tom's not a professional, great, all of that. He is. I just think sometimes we get carried away and we forget, like, you talk about all these people saying the Patriots are going to cakewalk to the Super Bowl and they're disappointed. I'm like, this is what Tom Brady did for his whole career with New England.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't new. This is what, I mean, And by the way, like what Drake May's done this year, I think is more impressive because Buffalo was good and Tom Brady didn't have a good Buffalo team to
Yeah.
go up against.
Or Miami or Jets. Jets, maybe Jets.
Yeah.
Couple of years.
But it's just like, I mean, I think Matthew Stafford, and you want to talk about the Rams for a minute?
Yeah, let's go.
I think I'm hearing a lot of chatter that Matthew Stafford needs to win another Super Bowl to be a Hall of Famer. I think he's a Hall of Famer right now.
I agree.
And
I agree.
Do you agree?
I agree that he's a Hall of Famer right now. I think another Super Bowl kind of gets him that what I believe is his way out into retirement. I think a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl this year for him is like him being like, I can retire. Because after that 2021
crazy
season,
to retire an MVP.
But what? So
has that ever happened?
But here's the thing: the Beatles. Let's go to a completely different thing. The Beatles, after 7 years, they stopped, and everybody's like, "No, you have so much good music," but everybody remembers how good they were for that 7-year span as a band, and they will never know the fall off because it never happened. So with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and even Aaron Donald, right? Like Aaron Donald, I feel like is a really, really good example for this. You went out on top of your game. If you're on top of your game, what more is there left to accomplish? Could you win another Super Bowl? Maybe, but how hard is it to get to a Super Bowl? How hard has it been for the Rams, for example, with Stafford since they won that Super Bowl to get back? This has been probably their best chance, right? In these last few seasons or so.
Yeah, this is the best defense they've had since.
So yeah. I think if he wins it, right, and he goes out, you will never, and a lot of and all NFL fans will never know what the Matthew Stafford drop off it was or is, because
that was the goal. I mean,
yeah, because he goes out on top in MVP and in a Super Bowl. Tom Brady went out kind of shitty with his last year in Tampa.
He gets the pass because of the divorce,
totally, but it's still not the way he wanted to go out, I think.
No, but I think in a couple more years, I can hardly remember that season, to be honest. And I think eventually that will fade, and I mean, people will remember the Dallas beating that maybe that'll come up, but it's not going to be like a lingering memory that taints his career or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. And I remember when John Elway did that press conference when he goes, "We all graduate from college. We all graduate from high school. I'm just graduating from professional football." And it makes anyone cry that loves football.
Mm-hmm.
And he said his dad, he told his dad that he always wanted to retire with something left in the tank versus retiring
just limping off the field.
And it's because it can't, imagine if Rodgers would have retired after winning MVP in 2019.
Yeah.
I think about, well, wait, was it 2021? I meant, 2021, right?
Yeah, I think was that the year where he won 2 or 3 in a row?
Yeah, MVP, that was the year because there was chatter about him coming to Denver the next year. So that 2021, imagine these Jets and Steelers years just didn't happen in the last year with Green Bay.
Well, I think that's a good thing, honestly.
I think it would elevate his
I think so too.
Stardom,
exactly. Yeah.
Because people do forget. They forget how good Aaron Rodgers was. I know, because I remember how good he was, and I can see the way people talk about him now. He's a bum. I'm dude, he had one of the most. Russ never made the kind of throws that Russ had that moon ball, but he was more athletic and never a good thrower over the middle of the field, but he just found a way to win. But also I don't know, Russ is a very complicated thing to break down.
You're right. That was nowhere near what the example with Aaron Rodgers you're saying. So sorry,
but he did have the most historic fall off of all time.
Exactly.
And he actually fell off so hard, there will be debate about Hall of Fame. I think he still gets in, but it'll be debated. But with Matthew Stafford, I think sometimes we look at these awards, whether it's a Super Bowl or an MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and we kind of overcomplicate the Hall of Fame process. Now, there's like people that will say Julian Edelman's a Hall of Famer. Now, okay, what is your take on that? Because he's got like 3 rings.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a huge part. The helmet catch, or no, that was David Tyree, but the one catch in the Atlanta
where he caught it an inch off the ground and caught it into his body. Yeah,
that one, like,
that'll be seared in my mind forever.
Yeah, because we've seen it in slow motion so many times. Like, there's people that are like Julian Edelman's a Hall of Famer, and there's also people that are like Christian McCaffrey's not. And I think the best way to like uncomplicate it is to just say, all right, let me just remove all of the like fluff, the awards, the accolades. And I know that's like, you can't, but let's do it. What if we just like rank them by greatness in their prime, and how long their prime was is the crucial thing. Like, it's one thing if it's like, dude, remember that one year where Joseph Adai was the best running back in football, or JJ Adai? Remember
or Peyton Hillis was on the cover of Madden.
Yeah, like I'm not talking
Cooper
about
Cup.
I'm talking about like, I can give you an entire decade where this guy was top 10 all decade. And Christian McCaffrey has been the best running back in the last decade. I don't care that he's never won a Super Bowl. I don't. Like, how many times has that guy put the team on his back? He's a single-handedly the most important player in the NFL. I think if you take him out of the 49ers, I mean, that's the only reason the 49ers even got to the playoffs. And he was coming off a major injury. So I think with Matthew Stafford, there's all these years in Detroit. But just like Tom Brady going to Tampa and winning a Super Bowl his first year, Stafford, by going to Los Angeles and being in a whole new system, winning a Super Bowl in year 1, only made us wonder, what if? What if Stafford would have been drafted by Bill Belichick or Sean McVay or Sean Payton or any other Sean besides Sean McDermott? But like, what would have potentially, what could have been? Like, maybe I think Stafford very well could have been like the Tom Brady. And I think sometimes, being a Super Bowl champion has more to do with the situation you're drafted into, your play caller, the amount of talent around you, the culture of the team, the ownership, the investments in the training facilities, in the development, all of this stuff. It's all important. And so many times we just go, does he have a ring? And it's like, no, he doesn't. Matthew Stafford doesn't, for all those years, it was like, he doesn't have a ring, but Detroit refuses to build around him.
And those conversations about no rings, you're starting to get into like, okay, Warren Moon, Hall of Fame quarterback. Dan Marino never won one. The running back for the Lions, their greatest running back,
Barry Sanders
never won one. So I think when you're talking about that,
Adrian Peterson
never won one. You're getting into like, how important was he in that time span? So kind of how you're saying with Christian McCaffrey, how important was he from 2015 to 2025 in this decade where he was the running back? Was he, and to your point, let's remove offensive player of the years. Let's remove any accolades, first team all pro, second team all pro, things like that, pro bowlers. How important was he to his team, and how important was he, or how high was he in the NFL in terms of rushing yards, big plays, 20+ yard rushes, or whatever the stat is in terms of explosive plays? What did he mean to the NFL? Was he catching passes and getting this ridiculous yak? Was he catching passes or running the ball and getting touchdowns? That, I think, too, is like super important, because yes, the rings thing is kind of an important factor, I think, into getting all Hall of Fame, but I also don't think it is even 50% of what should get you in the Hall of Fame. I think having a ring is important, and I think if you ask any Hall of Famer who didn't win a ring, hey, would you have liked to have won a Super Bowl? I think a lot of them, I think a majority of them say yes. But the fact that they're in the Hall of Fame and that they will never be forgotten in terms of NFL history, I think that's a very, very good second prize instead of that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I think
Terrell
it's
Owens,
important.
Chad Johnson, Randy Moss.
Randy Moss never
I
won
mean,
one. He was on the Patriots, but he never won it.
almost undefeated season and lost to Eli Manning. I mean,
Yeah.
like there's just so many players, and I kind of think that's why this championship weekend, it's like, don't let the moment go by, because, and I think that's what's hardest. And for some reason, Dan Campbell seared in my mind when they gave up 21 points in the third quarter in the NFC Championship game to the Niners.
Yeah.
He like went to the podium and he was like, it's just real you know how he cries and stuff. And he's like, it's just real disappointing because it's going to be a lot harder to get here.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I'll never forget that. And it's like, I was telling Mary, I'm like, you know, when I said how much we care for these people, I was like, no one would believe this. But the truth is like, my like heartbreak all week, the depression, the sadness about what happened. What we know what I'm talking about. Look at the shirt, right? It had nothing to do with the Broncos. It had everything to do with Bo Nix. The fact that him as a human being, like putting in all of this work to get his team into this moment, and now he can't play. And even if they do win the Super Bowl, it's like, okay, so they could have done it without Bo. You know, it's like Bo doesn't get to be the quarterback that wins MVP. He doesn't get to, you know, he's got to wear a boot and like,
watch,
you know, get a what do you call, like a participation ring? What happened? Like I'm like, I think that's what hurts the most. So like these moments, I told Mary, I'm like, I waited 10 years for this game for my quarterback to not go. Like, it's not just like, well, don't worry, we'll be here next year. You know, it's not like that. I mean, I trust me, when we won Super Bowl 50, there was no part of me that was like 2025 will be the next time we will be here. You know, I would have been like, I'm going to be 31. You know, like what? I'm 18 or whatever it was. Like,
at least you got to see one. That's nice.
Well, you got to see one.
Well, you got to see a win, I should say, in the Super Bowl.
You got to see, I guess,
participation. I got to see a participation in it.
Yeah, which is better than nothing. But I'm just saying, like, it's so hard to win a Super Bowl, and that only like makes the case stronger that we should really relax with like just handing the MVP or Hall of Fame to Super Bowl winning, because obviously the amount of elite players that haven't even been to a Super Bowl should tell you everything you need to know about what all goes into winning a Super Bowl. It is 100% like a complete byproduct of everything coming together, not just a good player. And it's a shame for those quarterbacks that are like loyal to a fault to the Browns. Myles Garrett, like Myles Garrett would imagine if he had 3 rings right now. There would be talks. Is he the greatest defensive player in the history of the
He
NFL?
would be the Mahomes of defensive ends, honestly.
Yeah, he would be up there with like, I don't know, Reggie White,
LT, Lawrence Taylor, Von Miller, possibly. Yeah, he won one.
I mean, he won 2.
He won 2 with,
and he has a Super Bowl MVP.
Who did he win with?
The Rams with Stafford that year.
No, he wasn't on the Rams, was he?
The Broncos traded him before the trade deadline to the Rams. Dude, he was like, I think he was the piece that got the Rams the ring. When he went to the Buffalo Bills, his goal was to be the first player to win 3 rings with 3 different teams. And next year, he's going to come back to Denver on like a veteran minimum type of thing. And like, he's already said, like, he doesn't care about money. He just wants to be on the team for one last year. So like, you know, finish off with the Broncos. But anyway, I'm just saying Stafford. Okay. Stafford's a Hall of Famer. Do you want to, I'll be really quick. We talked, what was the other, let's skip the Broncos and Bills game and let's just talk about the next one. Let's start with the NFC. Let's do that.
Yeah, we'll do Seahawks 49ers for the divisional round.
Oh, okay, real quick. I guess if we're going to move off of that game, we got to talk about the catch interception by McMillan. I've had a long time to like process this.
Oh yeah.
It's an interception to me every time. I've even seen a picture of the defender removed with 0.02 seconds after the player hit the ground and he's not even holding the ball. Seen other images where the glove holding the football is orange. I've seen the fact that if two players are fighting over the ball and that's it, they're both fighting over the ball on the ground, then tie goes to the runner. But if the defender comes away with the ball and the receiver's on the ground pouting, like, how did I do that? That is not what a victor looks like. I got to tell you, if you just like pulled that off, you would be much more shocked. You wouldn't be laying there like, fuck. And that's exactly what got Denver the ball, was that all of those things together was like, okay, how could we, it would have been, look, as weird as it was to see Denver come away with that, I think it would have been weirder to see Buffalo, the play goes to Buffalo and it's overturned and now it's a catch. I think that would have been much more controversial, but it's like either way, once in a while a football play happens where no matter where it goes, like there's going to be controversy around it. That's the nature of the game. It doesn't happen all the time. And usually it's like you can kind of lean on the rule book, and that's what we're doing here. Because if you go to the rule book, it's like if you're not already established as a runner, then you have to maintain possession through the ground. Yeah. Now, that was the difference with the Bears game, was that they deemed Jalen Johnson ripped the ball out of I believe it was
Stevenson ripped the ball out of somebody's hands. Yeah, and that's why it wasn't, because like you said, he established himself as a runner.
He was a runner at that point. And then I guess when his knee went down, then that's it. But if you haven't done that yet, just like if a player goes up and catches a ball, he's not a runner, right? Yeah. So when he goes down, he's got to maintain possession through the fall in the ground.
And that's why I don't have a problem with the call at the end of it, because screenshots, real quick screen grabs, they tell a completely different story than what the actual play was. Because if you make a screen grab of what's his name, the receiver who dropped the ball in the end zone,
Brandon Cooks.
No, for the Broncos.
Oh, dropped the Jordan Humphrey, the first
Jordan Humphreys. If you take a screenshot of him holding it, that's a touchdown. But guess what? He didn't maintain possession and he dropped it. So it's not a touchdown. So I agree. I totally agree with what you're saying. If it would have gone Buffalo's way, it would have been even weirder. It would have been more controversial. Yes, at the time, it's like, okay, what's a catch? But then you go through the rule book, you go through the play, and you think, okay, they weren't fighting for it. And if they were, like you said, quoting the rule book, it goes to the runner. But I forget who it was. McMillan took it right out of Cook's hands as they were falling. Was he down? Yes. Were there two sets of hands on the football? Yes. Who came away with the football? Definitely not the guy crying on the ground. The other guy came away with
celebrating
it. The guy celebrating. The guy who grabbed the ball, rolled one time, got up and said, look what I've got. That's who it is at the end of the day. And yes, the Bears had something similar, but it is not a screen grab. It is what progressed through the minute that ball touched hands to when it was deemed down. And that's again, big. It's two separate things. Yeah, totally. It's two separate things.
It's big of you because there's a lot of Bear fans. I'm sorry. There's a lot of Bills fans that are like forcing the Bears into this fight. Like, okay, if that's a catch, then what is it? And it's like, these are two different scenarios. Like, what are you guys talking about? And then they clip like Colin Cowherd's like, there's a lot of Bills fans right now that are wondering. And it's like, okay, yes, he's right. Because you guys don't know ball. That's why you're wondering. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it's like he wasn't wrong that there was a lot of Bills fans, because look what this week has turned into. I don't know. I know you're not on like the social media, but let me just tell you, dude, 9 out of 10 of everything is this play. and it just won't move on. They won't turn the page. And it's like,
it's copium. It is what it is. It is.
I'm like, dude, in the case that they would have ruled that a catch and kicked the extra point, there's no way that like you can say as a Broncos fan that we lost because of that play. It might have come down to that play, but for Buffalo, at least, like they had 5 turnovers. Yeah. Like, but all those playoff games where they were willing to blame Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, now they have something else to blame. And you notice the Bills fans signed a petition. There's 25,000 names on it to bring Sean McDermott back. I'm like, these are the same people that wanted him out all these other years. So this coping process is weird. It's very weird because they have something else to blame their problems on. And now they're like, it's like a toxic relationship where like you remember the good times and it's like you need your friend to be like, no, do you remember, like, let me remind you some bad times because I don't know, you're only remembering the good stuff right now. And Buffalo's doing that with Sean McDermott a little bit. And it's like, and for Josh Allen, like, Josh Allen went to the podium and he didn't bitch and moan about the call. He said, I wasn't good enough today. And most of the country's thinking, no shit. You know what I mean? Of course you weren't good enough. How many times did you get the ball stolen out of your hands like a baby? Like they were obviously better. That's why they won the game. I mean, they took the ball away. It was very close. And that's a testament to Buffalo. You turn the ball over 5 times and you're still almost that much of the play away from being able to kick that field goal and win. And then the owner comes out and they go, hey, what's keeping you from winning a Super Bowl? And he goes, a bad call. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. So you're firing your head coach over a bad call? Because that's like, what are we doing here? You're just firing him? Because if it was really just about a bad call, then why the need?
You'd be going against the refs. You'd be going against the refs. Not your coach.
Why the regime change? You're on your way to a Super Bowl and you want to tear it down?
And it's I can't
just own up to it, all of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't sit here and say I would be acting any different than those Buffalo fans in terms of like copium, right? Like, oh, it was a catch. It wasn't an interception. Blah blah blah. I can't sit here and say that because I would be pretty furious about something like that. But
yeah, it's a furious
at least
fight, but
it's a fan thing. It is what it is. At least I can, at the end of the day, say we lost on a very clear interception. Like we lost that game on a clear interception. The Rams went down the field, kicked the field goal. And the point about firing the coach and the owner coming out and saying it's a bad call, it's like, no, dude, that's clearly not it. You lost to the better team. You lost to the better defense. You played a hell of a game, but you realized that Sean McDermott cannot get you there. And you lost to the team who realized that back in 2014 when they got rid of, forget his name, and then the next year they won the Super Bowl with Kubiak. You guys.
Oh, yeah, John Fox.
You
and
did
that was
the
only
same thing.
That was only a 3-year stretch. And they were like, and honestly, our best team was in 2012. It was the Hail Mary by Flacco that sent us home. We were hosting the game, but like our season ended on that type of miraculous miracle, and we were playing the Super Bowl champions that year.
And I think that the owner for the Bills, I'm forgetting his name at the moment, but I think he just was like, we're not going to do it with McDermott. And unfortunately, all these Bills fans are signing petitions. I want to take you guys back 2 years ago with this very team that I am a fan of. There was plenty of fans, some I personally knew, that were like, why are we getting rid of Justin Fields? Why are we bringing in a rookie Caleb Williams, the guy who paints his nails and who cries at the Notre Dame game when he loses? And it's like, why? What do you mean, why? The guy who can't complete passes in under 7 seconds, the guy who waits for his guy to be wide open and then throws it, and the guy who decides who wants to run before he passes the ball. You're wondering why we're going with somebody else? And now they see why. So Bills fans who are signing this petition and are saying Sean McDermott needs to come back, you guys, I guarantee you, whoever is the next coach, and if it's a good one, or if it's someone who's going to be a first-time head coach, if they can bring Josh Allen and this Bills team to the level that the Rams, when they won their Super Bowl and got Sean McVay, the 49ers with Shanahan, they haven't won one, but they've been very close. Like the Chiefs with Andy Reid, you guys are going to forget that you ever, and this goes back to my analogy with Caleb Williams and Justin Fields, you guys are going to forget about feeling as strongly about keeping, unfortunately, this phrase is going to get a lot of shit, but a loser of a head coach for something that is new and unknown, but you may have a better chance, that much better of a chance to win a Super Bowl and finally get to that place that the Buffalo Bills fans have never been to. And that's Super Bowl champions holding the Lombardi trophy up at the end of the game and being like, we won Super Bowl such and such. Guys, Bills fans, McDermott was never going to be your coach for 30 years. It just wasn't going to happen. We've seen time and time again him fail. And Kyle and I say this all the time on this podcast. It's better to cut your losses when you know that this person, quarterback, coach, whatever, is not going to get you there, and always play the what if game than to move on. It's always better to move on. It's much better to cut your losses than to never move on and always play what if.
The amount of people that wanted us to keep Russ, that were like, he had his best season.
You know it too, yeah.
It's like, no, this isn't it. And like, how about you just trust the head coach that's been doing this longer? Like, yeah, if he was good, why would Sean want to get rid of him? Like, he didn't come here to put our franchise in the toilet. You know what I mean? Like, that's what
I feel like everybody, when we were going to get rid of Justin Fields and bring in Caleb Williams, Bills fans are thinking Sean McDermott or nothing. And it's like, do you guys realize that you have a gem at quarterback with Josh Allen who will put his body on the freaking line to win football games?
How are you satisfied with this?
How are you satisfied with a divisional round?
You guys have a defensive coach that averages in every Josh Allen playoff game 33 points allowed.
Mm-hmm.
If the one thing that your guy does best, he doesn't do well, and you're not winning Super Bowls, I don't understand it. I really don't. And I think sometimes people are just afraid of uncertainty. I think that's all it is. Like,
and
we don't
100%.
It's like, I know McDermott, like, I'm comfortable. You got to think Buffalo's a small town. Like, I'm sure like he does events, and like, I get the loyalty because that's what a community is.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like, this is a bigger thing happening. This is a business. This is not like, in Green Bay, it was like Brett Favre can do no wrong. And then it's like, now he's sending dick pics to people. It's like,
perfect example, and stealing welfare money.
It's like, you have, at some point, it's like you're not, nobody's good enough to get away with losing that many games or sending that many dick pics, like, or stealing that much welfare. Like,
if the Chiefs, this is clearly a hypothetical, if Andy Reid doesn't win a Super Bowl in the first 5 years with Mahomes, guess what? The Chiefs are moving on too, because they know that they've got a guy in Mahomes who can win it.
Oh yeah, they would move off Andy Reid.
And Reid has been the coach since 2013, guys.
What have you done for me lately?
Exactly. If he doesn't win it in 2020 or whenever it was that the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl with Mahomes and Reid, guess what? They fucking move on. And that's what the Bills and Josh Allen are doing right now. And yes, it's a tough go because, like you said, Kyle, it's an unknown. And right now it's tough. And you love Sean McDermott and where he took you because, yes, he brought you and he brought this team. He elevated them to the status that they're at now. But so did John Fox. And guess what? They still couldn't win the big one. And like you said, to average giving up so many points in playoff games. What? No, you got to move on. There's someone better than Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott's probably going to be a very successful defensive coach, coordinator somewhere. But he's not the guy for you guys, Bill.
He's definitely coordinator level. I think he's proven at this point. And to, like, I guess put a B-O-W on this.
Nope, put a B-O on it. Yeah.
Buffalo's a large city, but it's a very suburban, strong community. It's not like New York City. Like Buffalo, it's large. Like Jacksonville's a large city. It's not a city though. You know, there's nothing to do. You go downtown, there's nothing. I mean, you might see like a cover band or something. It sucks. Like Miami, LA, Chicago, New York. These are big cities.
Mm-hmm.
These big cities tend to be more open to change, to uncertainty, to new things. These smaller communities that have spent, it gets harder the longer he stays too. Like if they would have fired McDermott after the 13-second Mahomes game, I think the city would have taken it better than how they're taking this.
Mm-hmm.
But the longer it goes, the more scary, it gets. Like, okay, like who's this new person coming in? Like, I don't know who this is. Like, and that's just like kind of like, I guess, psychologically a real thing in the United States, depending on where you go. Like, not everybody likes change. Even at their own like detriment, they will be like, well, at least I know what I'm getting. And it's like,
at least I know this devil. Yeah.
Good. Okay. That's what you want. I thought you guys wanted Super Bowls. I guess a first round exit is what keeps the city's lights on. I don't know. But, okay. So moving Buffalo aside, NFC Championship, we got the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle has just, I think the way Seattle is playing right now is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready to just be like, they're going to win the Super Bowl. And I know a lot of people are, but this is very much still a prove it thing with Sam Darnold for me. I'm not that impressed with the win over the 49ers, although I thought it would be a close game.
What?
No, this is why. Because the 49ers, going back to the first time they played Seattle, I just feel like it got to a point where they outkicked their coverage all year. They kept their nose above water. Think about the amount of injuries they dealt with. They lost Pearsall. They lost Fred Warner. McCaffrey was hurt. I mean, it was like finally, it was like once I saw McCaffrey on the sideline, like going like this, I was like, there it is, the final struck. Because honestly, McCaffrey's been the only thing holding it together all year.
Yeah,
you lose him. This is a 5-win football team without McCaffrey. I swear to you. I had him on my fantasy team. He got me 30 points every week. Take McCaffrey off the Niners this year. Shanahan is drafting in the top 10. So the fact that they were even in the playoffs, let alone like winning a game in the postseason, although I knew they would beat the Eagles because the Eagles are somehow even worse. And it's not like when they won against the Eagles, the 49ers like proved anything to me. So when they went on to play Seattle, I felt like the 49ers and the Eagles were just on a different tier with Seattle altogether. But that doesn't mean Seattle is on an untouchable tier with the remaining 4 teams. I think Denver and the Patriots and the Rams are much closer to where Seattle is than the Eagles and 49ers are even remotely close to. And with that said, Sam Darnold is the reason. Like, I mean, if Matthew Stafford was on the Seahawks, same production, I would be like, Seattle is the team to beat, period, end of story, and no one probably will. But I haven't seen it yet. And I'm very much I haven't loved what I've been seeing from Sam Darnold as much as the defense. Like, the defense has been insane. Yeah. The punt returns, the kickoff returns, the fumbles, the interceptions, the pick sixes. Like, these things are running up the score. Sam Darnold handing the ball off. They got a good running game with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, and they obviously got great weapons with JSN. But like, what has nobody really done to Seattle is forced Seattle to have to win with Darnold in his arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if a team can get Seattle to do that, which I know that the 49ers couldn't, with what I was watching, it was like they're just not good enough without McCaffrey to even like go score for score with this team. And offensively, without McCaffrey, the 49ers look kind of bleak. Like, and no, I will not take credit away from Seattle, because this is exactly what people do when we beat up a good team. They're like, their offense sucked. It's like, yeah, because our defense made them look shitty. Mm-hmm. But there is a real truth to what I'm saying about the 49ers offensively without McCaffrey, whether you like it or not. And they just didn't have it. I'm telling you, I was breaking the Bo Nix news while the game started, thinking, oh, I'll do this for 5 minutes. It was 14-0 by the time I finished. Like, the game was over. I think they returned the opening kickoff of the game. So
Shaheed.
It did not take long for me to realize what was happening in this game. I just don't see that being like the path the rest of the way, because it's the only sample size is that game. Mm-hmm. Now, I think the Rams and the Seahawks are going to play a very close game. And that alone tells you why I'm not saying Seattle is just going to run away with this, because they still have tough, close, competitive football games to play. They have this one and they have the next one. And one of those teams might force Sam Darnold to, hey, you're going to have to beat us with your arm, because we're not going to let you run the ball. And our offense is good enough to at least score 17 to 24 points. But can you score 24 points on maybe Denver's defense? Can you overcome 3 strip sacks? I mean, like, these are things that are still up in the air for me. If I had to say, like, you can pick one team outside of my fandom, it would be Seattle. I'm like, yeah, Seattle would be, but I don't want to get caught in this recency bias because of a game. And I feel like I'm in danger of it. I feel like the world's in danger of it. Seattle's been playing really good football this year. They are probably the best team remaining right now, but there's a lot more that goes into championship weekend than just, we're going to do that again. If they do, then okay, I'll take it back and I'll eat my words, and that'll be fine with me. I just don't see it. Not with Stafford, the Rams, the defense. It's going to be a close game, I think.
Yeah. And I was one of those people too, admittedly, that I was like, I don't think I care who plays the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks win at the end of the day. Super Bowl, NFC Championship, everything. Now, you make a really good point about Sam Darnold. And I think historically, there really isn't too much, at least sample size wise, because he was on the Jets, right? And that was kind of like a really terrible kind of time for him. Then goes on to the Panthers, goes on to the Vikings, or 49ers, Vikings, whatever order that was. And then you started to see him last year in the Vikings in that game against Detroit. And you're like, well, there's the Sam Darnold. But then this year with the Seahawks, it becomes a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's not that he got better, but it's not like in games against the 49ers, the week 18 game or whenever it was, last game against the Rams, and even last game against the 49ers, the divisional round, where he just was exciting. It wasn't anything like how you're saying where Sam Darnold destroyed the Niners with his arm. He completed 12 passes and he attempted 17. Kenneth Walker had 3 touchdowns.
That's insane.
And the reason is because Kenneth Walker was having a monster game. Rashid Shaheed had the game-winning touchdown, and it was the opening kickoff of the game, and he had the game-winning touchdown.
That's insane.
That's a crazy notion. And just to go back, and again, I'm not trying to shit on the Seahawks or Sam Darnold or his past, but I think you're right in the sense that the Rams will make it where, I mean, you saw the Rams defense against the Bears, Monangai and Swift, damn near all year. They were the best running back duo or at least one of the top ones in terms of yards, touchdowns, yards per carry, things of that nature. And short yardage situations, it was very difficult for the Bears to do something like that. So I think they will be able to stop Kenneth Walker. Charbonnet, unfortunately, is out for the year after suffering an injury last week.
I guess I stopped watching. I honestly didn't watch.
To be fair, I think it was yesterday or the day before that I found this out. So, and look, Charbonnet didn't have a crazy game against 49ers either. 5 carries for 20 yards.
It's a big injury still, though, because that's that's when Kenneth Walker gets rest. You got the 2-headed monster. Charbonnet, there's been maybe more games than not that Charbonnet's been better than Kenneth Walker.
And that's the thing that puzzles Seattle fans. It's like, why can't Kenneth Walker do this for 12 games?
Well, look at the 49ers defense the last 4 games. I mean,
no. I guess I'm just talking about between Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. Not necessarily the games that they played in, but just it's like when you're like, why can't every running back or the starting running back RB1 on every team be like Christian McCaffrey? Why is it that they have 6 good games and 11 bad ones? And why is it that our second guy has 4 good games and 12 bad ones?
I think it's a combination of like the 49ers are such a bad defense. Even in the Eagles game, it was like the only way they're going to win, because we know they're going to give up a ton of yards. The only way is if they can hold their opponents to field goals in the red zone, because they're going to get there damn near every drive. They probably won't even see a punter today. And that's why I'm so shocked about Robert Saleh coming to Tennessee, because I'm like, I mean, in a way, like he did a lot with a little, but at the same time, like ultimately, like his defense sucked at like the last 4 or 5 games. It was like anybody could have just ran right through them. It was ridiculous. I mean, it was like hard to watch type of defense where you're like, do you guys even like have pride? Like you're just gonna let this keep happening? It was like, I don't know. I felt like I was watching like a 5th grader bully a 3rd grader. It was like, I can't watch this. This is just not even competitive. It's like I'm watching an arena football team try to, it was that bad defensively. And now he's a head coach. But like for Seahawks fans, there's a couple things where like matchups are everything. Like you're not going to like have your best run game against the top run defense. It's not happening. That's their bread and butter. That's what they do. They force you to throw. And we're going to find out a lot. But the other thing is when Charbonnet goes down and now Kenneth Walker is the every down back, it allows Kenneth Walker to get into a real rhythm, a rhythm that he may not have been able to get into, sharing carries back and forth. And this is a real thing with running backs. I know my team's had like 3-4, at least 4 to 5 running backs rostered every year. And Sean Payton is notorious. Every year he does this, whether it was like Kamara and Evan Ingram, whatever.
Yeah.
They always carry a ton of running backs. And I listen to those press conferences and the running backs are always bitching subtly about that they can't get into a rhythm when they get 7 snaps. It's like, I'm going to give you only 5 snaps, but if you don't break one, you're not going to earn more. But it's like, I can't break one unless I get into a rhythm, and I need more than 5 to do that. So it's like, I eat because I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy because I eat. And it's like, you know, a very
vicious circle,
self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's with all that said, I think that maybe the best thing for Kenneth Walker was Charbonnet going down, and not in a mean way, but like he might actually be able to get into a real rhythm as just like, I'm the guy every down. And, you know, he might have his usual total game carry by the end of the first half. And then he's got a whole nother second half. So I don't know, it could go one or two ways, but I think that's another aspect when you got, I don't care if it's, very rarely does a team pull us off like the way Detroit does with Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. Usually you're running 2 running backs and one of them like kind of is having a better day, and then you lean on that 175-25. The Rams do this, you know, with the running back from Michigan. What's his freaking name? Blake Corum. And then what's the other one?
Kyron Williams.
And then all year it's been like 25-75, 25-75, 20-80. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden it was like 40-60. And now it's like 45-55. And it got to the point where Kyron Williams in fantasy was unplayable. And it
Mhm.
was just because like they kept putting Blake Corum in so much that he was losing his volume. So it's a
Yeah.
weird thing. Like sometimes it works out great. And it's like you're getting production from two people and they're both well rested. And then sometimes both running backs can't get in a rhythm and nobody's doing well in the running game. So I don't know which way it's going to go. My gut tells me Kenneth Walker's going to have a better day than normal, but they're still not going to run for over 100 yards on the Rams defense, I don't think.
And this is the one thing though that I think kind of in my point of view gives the Seahawks the edge, because can Kenneth Walker beat you? Maybe not to the extent that he beat the 49ers, 120 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging like 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry, whatever it was. But can Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba, to an extent, Barner, their tight end, to another extent, Cooper Kupp, their wide receiver too, can they possibly beat you? I have a much. I think they can. I think if you can't stop the run with Kenneth Walker, I think those guys on the offense, even with Sam Darnold and the very tiny sample size we have of him in big games, can beat the Rams defense. Because look, the bear weather for the Rams, I think it definitely played a factor. But guess what? It also played a factor against the Bears, and that's
Right.
the weather that they play in every week.
Home field advantage is what helped the Bears the most.
And I think so too. Yeah, absolutely. So I think the Seahawks have to lean into that. But when you look at the Rams, they got weapons all over the place too. I just don't think their defense is nearly as good as the Seattle Seahawks. I really don't. I think it's good.
No, it's not. Dude, no, not even.
Yeah, I think it's not. I think the Seattle Seahawks defense is that dominant where you can put a ton of pressure on Stafford, and the Bears were rarely putting pressure on Stafford. And yet, in that Bears game, Stafford was only able to manage 20 points on the offense, right? And really 14 points.
I think it was a weather
kind of
thing.
On his end.
I'm going to be honest.
Sure.
I think it was a weather thing, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and it was also the defense, I think, too. Like the defense was good all game.
When the Bears did get pressure on Stafford, I felt like Stafford beat it. And
yeah.
the other
one sack. I think he took 1 sack.
Yeah, and it was like I just remember having to like bite my tongue because I'm like I didn't want to like, I'm gonna rub your face in it. But like I just remember so many times I kept thinking Stafford is so good. Mm-hmm. Like his awareness and his decision making is so quick that it's like what are we supposed to do? We can't get pressure on this guy. And when we try to, we leave someone open. But if we leave him back there without pressure, then he's gonna beat us anyway. So like the way Stafford's playing right now it's incredible. Now Sam Darnold, I'm going to give my prediction with this one here. And I think the Rams are going to win this game.
Ooh,
I'm not changing my preseason prediction now. Like, okay, like that would be so dumb. I'm going to pick Seattle.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be dumb. I respect you for not changing it, but I also
really am picking the Rams. I'm just mentioning it.
But you had if I remember correctly, you had the Seahawks finishing third behind the Niners and the Rams, or second, whatever the case may be. I had them winning the division. Not even I had the Seattle Seahawks being this dominant on defense. And so while I respect that you're not going to change your preseason, I wouldn't blame you if you did because of the circumstance. But go ahead.
That's fair, because obviously things change and things have changed a lot with Seattle. But the reason that I'm going to go with the Rams is because abnormally the Seahawks have been not that great at home. They've been better on the road. And so I look at the home field, and as much as I know that the fans and all that, it makes it difficult. I think that Stafford is a pro, and the noise isn't going to hurt him. It's just not. Like he's at a stage in his career where like the noise, it's good for the fans and it's good for the Seahawks for momentum. But if you're thinking like this is a young quarterback that's going to get overwhelmed or something, like that's not what. Maybe if it was Drake May going into Seattle, or like I think this way about him going into Denver, it's like that's a tough
100%.
environment. Stafford's like, okay, he'll be fine, just like I thought he would last week. And the Rams, their defense, like you said, they're not elite, but they're good enough. And the reason they're good enough is because of what the Rams are able to do offensively. I think Puka Nacua is going to have 175 yards receiving in this game.
Damn.
And I think that is going to be I think he's going to have 200 all-purpose yards in this game. I think that's going to be the main thing is like feed Puka Nacua. I mean, the reason I think these things is because this is what we've seen this year when these teams have played. So we've seen these two teams play in both games were remarkably close. We had the Rams winning week 11. So it's not like week 1 where it's like the Seahawks didn't really get their feet under them. No, this was in the second half of the season. And LA won 21-19, which is kind of one way this game could go. Then they played again week 16 and Seattle won 38-37.
So wild.
To think like, oh, Seattle's just going to blow them out like they did these other teams. It's like, well, that hasn't really been the case all year. And one of these games, Seattle lost. So I don't know. Like I'm thinking this is going to be a close game. So then it kind of comes down to who I trust more. I think Sam Darnold's going to throw 2 touchdowns in this game, but I also think he's going to throw 2 interceptions. I don't feel like Matthew Stafford is going to throw 2 picks. And I do feel that way very strongly about Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold, as much as he makes like these amazing plays, he also throws so many interceptions. And you're just like, but you're not like mad because he's doing some other cool stuff. It reminds me of early Josh Allen. If you remember the way early Josh Allen played, it was, and then he stopped. And that was a natural progression of him as a player. It was like, okay, I need to protect the ball more. And that really started when, Brady came in, and then they started running the ball. But when it was all on him, it was like, oh my God, I'm a gunslinger pick. And, this has kind of been every Seahawks game I've watched. I've seen Sam Darnold throw 1, usually 2 interceptions, with one of them being bad and the second one being like egregious. Like one of them being like, what is he doing? And the other one being like, oh yeah, what is that? Like, who is that? That's not the same guy that we saw in the first half lighting it up. So he still has these like ups and downs where maybe the Rams ceiling isn't as high as the Seahawks, but I think they have a higher floor than this quarterback in this situation. So the defense hasn't been great all year for the Rams, but they have been good in the playoffs. And that's another thing that matters to me. Now they forced the all those yards against Panthers on the Rams defense. And that was a kind of like, where's the defense type of a game, but they also got an interception to seal the game when it mattered most. And then they went into Chicago. The weather, not really a thing for me that much because both had a play in it. And to me, it's just about it's not the noise as a audible thing. It's the noise as a momentum energy. I'm a big believer in energy. And it's funny, like when you watch a football game and you see a momentum shift, what are you really seeing? Nothing. You're feeling it. It's something like yawning where science doesn't know why it's contagious, but it is. And it's a real thing. So that's what's hard. When Chicago had that touchdown to end the game, the fact that the Rams won that game, I mean, I couldn't imagine how like thick the energy must have been in that moment. That feeling of doom immediately hitting the Rams. Like it's happening to us. Like everything that we planned for to not let happen, and it's our nightmare, and the Rams pull it off. So
Yeah.
I think the Rams have just proven to be a little more battle tested. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to take the Rams to win on a walk-off field goal.
Woo!
It's going to be 37-34.
Oh my God, you've got a high-scoring game, and I mean, yeah, why wouldn't it be? It's not crazy winter type of weather here like it is in Chicago and like it was last week for the Rams.
I forgot to mention the game's going to go into overtime.
Overtime again. We saw 2 last week, the Bears and the Broncos. Kyle's calling it right now. I want to agree with a high-scoring game, but if I'm honest with these defenses, I think it's going to be 24-21. And I
see it like one or the other. It's either like 19 to like what, or it's like, I don't know. I get what you're saying though, because that was the other fight. There was no like 27-30. It was either going to be what you're saying, which was the first game they played this year, 19-20, right? And that's kind of where you're at, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 24-21. And Seattle comes out on top. I'm not calling a walk-off field goal, but I'm calling a field goal with maybe about a minute, maybe a little bit more left. Rams get the ball next, and they just cannot get into field goal range. And I'm calling the Seattle Seahawks to go to the Super Bowl, win at home in the NFC Championship game, and get to the Super Bowl. And that's going to be where I think the tougher test really comes. That Super Bowl, that AFC team that comes out of there is going to be a big, big test for the Seattle Seahawks. And again, Kyle, let's do this. Get off the bus, Kyle. Who needs to get off the damn bus in this game to make an impact and eventually win this game? Is it a Ram or is it a Seahawk? Who needs to get off the bus, Kyle?
It's a Ram, and everything that I talked about for the last 15 minutes really comes down to one player, and it's not Sam Darnold. The 2 interceptions, the getting Sam Darnold off platform, shaken up, throwing picks, uncomfortable. This passing defense for the Rams, not that great. It's not. Look at Bryce Young, lit him up. But before the season started, my defensive player of the year was Jared Verse. For whatever reason, I would not say like that was a bad pick, because I would pick him again next year, because like it's going to happen eventually. It just, Brendan Fisk went out and then they were tripling him, and it's just like, okay, no excuses. He's still learning. He's going to hone in his craft. Remember, Von Miller didn't break out till year 3, really. So like, this is a guy that is potentially in a position to win this game the way Von Miller won Super Bowl 50. If Jared Verse is flying off the edge in this game and nobody can contain him and block him, and he can get a strip sack or 2, or not even a strip sack, but let's say he gets 1, and then for the rest of the game, he's flying off the edge, and now Darnold's throwing it early. And all of a sudden, this isn't as comfortable as the 49ers game. This guy is killing me. I can't drop back and throw the ball, and we can't run it. So Jared Verse, the best way to help out a bad to mediocre passing defense is to have an elite pass rush. And I think if Jared Verse truly, like the defensive player of the year candidate I thought he was, the guy that made the touchdown 4th down prevention against the Bears, I think it was DeAndre Swift who went airborne, and like those type of plays, Jared Verse is going to come ready. But if he really wants to win, if anybody's going to take over this game, I think if Jared Verse does it, the Rams win. I feel very confident about that.
Ooh, Jared Verse, get off the bus. All right. You went Rams. I'm going to go Seahawks. And last week with the Seahawks, I called it. I said Rashichi needs to get off the bus. And what do you do? I'm not going with Rashichi this time, but I got to give myself credit because I called it last week.
Rashichi, that was a good Brando. That was a good Brando.
Yeah, game-winning touchdown in the first 15 seconds of the game. Who would have known? Me, I did.
So whoever you say now is going to go off.
They have to go off. And this person did not go off in this game. I understand that you're calling a shootout and I'm calling a bit lower scoring game, 24-21. Regardless of whether it's in the high 30s or in the low 20s, JSN, get off the bus. Cooper Kupp outgained you in yards last week. And yes, JSN doesn't get the ball unless the quarterback gets it to him. But I have a feeling that Sam Darnold and JSN are going to take this connection to the next level. And by the next level, I mean to the Super Bowl. JSN, get off the bus, 125 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
He's getting off the bus. He is getting off the bus. And the Seahawks are taking the dub at home to get to the Super Bowl. Kyle, are you ready?
I think it's a great pick because if he doesn't get off the bus, there's no way the Seahawks are going to win.
It'll be very difficult. Very difficult.
Can I pee really quick?
Yeah, I'll let you pee and then I'm going to pee too.
Okay.
So I'm picking JSN and look, I'm going to go back to the game logs here because it wasn't impressive, guys. It wasn't impressive from a JSN. And I really did think against, this team and the 49ers and the injuries and what happened. I really did think JSN was going to go off. And I said it earlier, Cooper Kupp outgained them in yards. JSN had 3 catches for 19 yards. He had the touchdown, but Cooper Kupp had 5 receptions for 60 yards. Those are rookie numbers. Those got to go up. Those are first year numbers from JSN. JSN is now number 1. He is wide receiver number 1. And he has proved it over the last couple of years. I would say that he's wide receiver number 1. But you're right, Crafty. It's Darnold or Walker. Darnold needs to get the ball into JSN's hands and JSN needs to get open. I like the Darnold pick also because he somewhat underperformed last week too. We talked about the 12 completions on 17 attempts. Yes, he had a touchdown and he had 124 yards. He didn't even hit the 200-yard mark. I think against this defense, the way that the Rams defense was able to kind of get pressure on Caleb and really contain him from the edges because, Caleb loves to move right and make throws out of the pocket. And that's kind of where he's become Superman. But I think Darnold too. Yeah, absolutely. If it wasn't JSN for me, I feel like Darnold would have been second place there for get off the bus. Crafty's going Darnold or Walker. Again, 2 great picks. Walker went off, and I think he can do it again. I think it's going to be a little more difficult against this defense, but if I had a pick other than JSN, it would definitely be Sam Darnold. Kyle, I'm going to go pee.
Okay.
You go. You go ahead.
Okay. So he's going with the wrong guys. He's got JSN. I'm just kidding. No, I think it's a great pick. I mean, how are you going to win an NFC Championship game if your number 1 receiver doesn't go out and show out? And this is think about sending DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh. That was because they believed that JSN could be that guy, and he's been that guy all year. So I think it would be a massive disappointment. And potentially, this is something that the Rams are going to be aware of, maybe focusing 2 players on JSN. So I always talk about how this is a offensive coach league. I'm not a big fan of defensive coaches being hired, but look where Mike McDonald has his team right now. But is there somebody in the room smart enough, if the Rams try, to take out JSN with 2 players, to still find a way to scheme him open and make him effective in the game? I mean, because that's what great offensive players do. Like, obviously, when teams play the 49ers, they want to take CMC out, or Jonathan Taylor when they play the Colts, but yet these guys still have 150-yard games. That's because of the offense, the play calling, the schemes, the timing of the plays. So I feel like we're going to learn a lot about Seattle in this game. Puka to have 200 all-purpose yards, calling for it too. Let's go. We're going to ride. We're going to go down. If we go down, we're going down together. And that's okay with me. Great timing. I got to pee. I would have thought Darnold spreading the ball around to other receivers was a good thing. Nope.
Spreading.
I'll give you a spread. All right. We got one more game in.
One more? Who's in this game? There's one more game, Kyle? It's the Patriots and
I can't remember.
And who's hosting the game?
Mary. The Denver Broncos are going to be hosting the AFC Championship. I'm so pumped. I just get like pure joy thinking about this because our fans. All right, let's start where we need to start. Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we get terrible news, right? I mean, I was enjoying like the most happy moment of my life. It felt like, not quite, I have kids, but like they're going to watch this and be like, what?
Oh.
The happiest moment of your life? It was up there. It was definitely up there. Top 5 for sure. But it was incredible. And then we get done with the game. I'm downstairs talking to Mary. I'm like, that was incredible. Like, I still can't believe what we just did, what we just pulled off. And I come upstairs like I normally do it, and I, open up the press conferences. I'm just seeing what people are saying, the respect that we're getting or not getting, whatever. Like, all of the banter that goes on after a game. I'm there for it. When I lose, I'm not there for it. I don't want to see it. But a game like that, I could not wait after like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh yeah, there's this other part of enjoying a win I get to do now. And I went upstairs and grabbed my phone, and I have like all the social media stuff. Weirdly enough, the news comes through Fantasy Pros, which is like an app I downloaded years ago, and they beat everyone to it. And it pops up and it says, breaking, Bo Nix to have season-ending surgery, out for the remainder of the season. And I thought, exactly, just like that. That frozen like nothing. I went, okay. Part of me was like, okay, this is obviously a hack. Somebody hacked the... And I'm like, and it's also like not like it's coming from NFL Network. And it was just straight denial. Because I just watched this guy play an entire game, and then I saw him do an interview, and he's like, when did he break his ankle? Like on the first game. And then I'm like, okay. And then I'm like going to the press conference, and I'm like, okay, Sean did a press conference, and he's like, bad news. The third last play, the one before the big throw to Mims, Bo Nix hurt his ankle, and he's going to be out for the season. He's scheduled to have surgery on Tuesday with Dr. Howard in Alabama. And I'm like, what is going on right now?
You're like, no!
Scheduled to have surgery at 2:00. What?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? How has this all happened already? How does he already have an appointment to have his surgery? I'm like, what? Like, my exact words were, "Can we get a second opinion?" Like desperately. I'm like, is this like, I'm like begging for the breaks, and they're telling me like when it's scheduled and what city it's going to be in, the surgery. It's like the opposite. And I'm like, wow, Sean's basically coming out and being like, do not have hope about Bo Nix's injury. It's over. And
Yeah.
he got a lot of respect for it out of the media, because they're like, there's a lot of coaches that like hide it or play it close to the chest. And he like already did his interview, took a shower, and then he was like in a new, just his leather jacket, and he found out about the news, and he knew the media was waiting on Bo. And instead of just leaving the stadium, he went back out and said, well, you're going to find out, and I guess we'll just do this right now, and told the truth. And I guess that is rare. As far as like the stuff, I already told you how I feel about it on a personal note. I feel like my brother been busting his ass all year to play in this game, and now he can't. Like, that's how I feel. And then as far as like the team, I feel okay. I feel okay about the team, and obviously, if I could push a button and it's Bo Nix, it's Bo Nix, right? But we can't, and we have to move forward. So we have to look at the game without the emotion, because the emotion, a win can't even heal. That's the fucked up part, is like even winning the next 2 games, for me, it doesn't heal what hurts. And it's that my franchise quarterback has a golden opportunity to, dare I say, cement himself as top 3. And now it's like, depending on what happens Sunday, I'll be a grandfather, and 2025 will go down as the year of what could have been. What would have happened if they called a safety and the game ended right there and Bo was coming, like. But obviously we can't live in that world, as we said earlier. And I do believe that we are going to be more profitable for it. And I'll explain. First off, Jared Stidham. Okay. Stiddy City. Now,
let me see them stitties.
I didn't heard that one yet. Stidham drafted in the 4th round to back up this quarterback. I don't know if you've heard of him, Tom Brady.
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
And you got to think, the reason I have confidence in Jared Stidham, and I won't make you like wonder. I have a lot of confidence. If you were to tell me that I could pick any backup, it has to be a backup, right? Any backup quarterback to go into this situation, and you get them, I would not swap Stiddy out for any of them. Not Jameis Winston, not Phillip Rivers. The people that were like, can they call Phillip Rivers? I thought, do you guys really think that's better for us? Because that's incredibly dumb.
No way.
Like, the reason Phillip was able to do what he did was because he retired as a Colt. Like, this isn't how it works. Like, you don't just like come in at 44 years old and replace a guy that's been in a system with an elite head coach for 3 consecutive years that has a personal relationship with the quarterback that just went out. Like, no, like, we're in the perfect situation. Like, we actually, if you had to script this, we are in the best scenario. So like, these like people that want us to like tap other resources, I'm so glad Sean shut it down right away. He's like, Stidham's going to be our quarterback. Don't ask me about it. Like, I told you in the beginning of the season, I felt like I had 2 quarterbacks that were capable of starting for a number of teams in the league. And like, the thing about Sean is like, he does not bullshit. He never once went to the podium and said, I believe Russell Wilson's a starter in this league. He doesn't do it. Like, he tells you what he really thinks. And I think at this point in Sean's career, his opinion is worth something, because his opinion on Mahomes was good. His opinion on Bo Nix turned out to be a pretty good one. His opinion on not firing Vance Joseph after giving up 70 seemed to be a good one. His decisions to draft the players he's chosen. I mean, everything he's done is right. I'm sure he's made mistakes, but like it's all overshadowed by the massive amount of success he's had since coming here with two hands tied behind his back, with the salary cap in the Russell Wilson contract. This is our first year next year without Russell Wilson's money. Like we didn't even have draft picks or money, and we've been able to do this. This is absolutely incredible. So when Sean says, I feel like I have one of the best quarterbacks like as a backup that you could have, I believe him. And I know that because there was a really good reporter that said, I can't tell you who, but I can guarantee you, I know for a fact that there was a team that called Denver for a killer ransom for Stidham. And Sean said no. And it was like, I want Stidham on my team. And it seems like, well, how good was the package? But would it really have mattered if we didn't have Stidham right now? Our season would be over. In my opinion, if it was any other situation like Ben DiNucci, who we picked up on the practice squad or signed him to be like a QB3, like if he was our backup, like the season's done. I mean, I would be hopeful, but no. Like Stidham actually keeps us in the game, whether people realize it or not. Like he actually gives us a real shot to win this game. Yeah. And when Stidham was drafted to the Patriots, McDaniels and Tom Brady were in their like 9th or 11th year together in that system. That system had become so complex with so many dimensions because it was a decade of continuity between the two. Jared Stidham, he went to Auburn. Everybody knows that. I don't know if you know this, but when Bo Nix was in high school, his father played at Auburn, and his father's a legend at Auburn. So Bo Nix growing up, he didn't even care about the NFL. His dream was to play quarterback for Auburn. That was
and he did too.
And he did. But when he was a sophomore, he got his first offer from Auburn. So when he went to Auburn to visit, it was Jared Stidham who hosted his first visit to Auburn.
Oh, wow.
Jared Stidham and Bo Nix have been best friends since they were 16 years old.
Damn.
Now, this is very good news, I think, for Bronco fans because it's personal. It's not just a job at this point. It is very much a movie that's playing out in real life that is scripted perfectly for Disney. Because you have this real relationship between these two guys. I saw the pictures of Bo Nix after the x-rays, and he's sitting down, and his wife's right there, and his wife posted something on Instagram that said, like, I took a picture of this moment because of the amount of joy it brought me. And everyone was like, joy? And she was just like, what she was trying to say was like, this moment where Bo's like going through this, right? Look how many people are just, they're not trying to talk him or hype him up. They're just there. Like they could have gone home, but they all just decided to sit down on the freaking carpet and just be there and lean against the wall with him. And just, and you know what it's like when someone comes along your side and they're just there for you like that. And that's what Bo and Stidham have. And I don't think I fully appreciated the closeness of the relationship until this whole thing went down. And I started gathering like how many years that this friendship has been as close as it is. And I think for Stidham, when he had his first press conference, they were like, what's it like for the city, to get behind you, city, and all these profile pictures that are being changed to Stidham. And he's like, well, first off, it's not about me at all. He's like, it was all about like, we want to win this for Bo. Like we are locked in. Like it's like we wanted to win this for Denver and the fans, but we have a higher purpose now. Now we want to go win this for Bo. And I thought that's fucking great. That is awesome because you got to find a way to turn your pain into fuel. You can't just let it die with pain. You got to find a way to turn it around and turn it into motivation and find a way to use it for good. And that's exactly what the Broncos are doing right now. Now, Stidham, like I said, he went to Auburn, but most people don't know before that he went to Baylor. And when he was at Baylor, he played for Art Briles, who came from high school. So Baylor was running a high school level offense.
Wow.
And it was not complex, like no protection accountability, no progressions, no responsibilities at the line of scrimmage, none of that professional level stuff, high school. Then he went to Auburn and played for, was it Gus Melson, who outside of Cam Newton doesn't have a track record of being good with quarterbacks, and ran another very simple offense, and then went to the Patriots, where Tom Brady and Josh McDaniels have been in a system for 9 or 11 years together, and won the backup job. Like, you got to understand, this is like being a fifth grader and being thrown into calculus, is how I heard it. Right? And then learning calculus, because this guy, the only reason they would have let him back up Brady is not how good he throws a ball. Fuck that. The only reason they would have let him be the backup is if he understood the playbook. So it tells you the aptitude, the fact that he is that smart. And that, I think, is why, remember, when he was in high school, this was the number one quarterback in the country, ranked nationally. Stidham was the biggest thing coming out of high school. And a lot of people say, like, well, he never really amounted to that. But we talked earlier about how many things really need to go your way for it to work. Remember, like, we were talking about how some guys don't win a Super Bowl or some quarterbacks don't pan out. Well, like, he was backing up the Patriots. And then when Josh McDaniels got the Raiders head coaching job, a lot of people don't realize this, but guess what? Josh McDaniels was obviously the one that was making the decision about who's going to back up Tom Brady as the offensive coordinator, right?
Yep.
So what does it tell you that when Josh gets hired to the Raiders, his very first transaction was getting Jared Stidham?
Yep.
It tells you so much about Jared Stidham. Now, when Josh McDaniels went back to New England and Stidham became available, Sean Payton's first transaction was Jared Stidham. And a lot of people scratched their head because they said, why would you pay $10 million for a backup quarterback on a year where you're paying Russ all this money?
Yep.
And Sean wanted him, and then his contract ended and he paid him more money.
And on top of that, Josh McDaniels asked Stidham to come back to the Patriots.
Yes.
And Stidham said, no, I'm staying in Denver. That
he wanted
is
him
also
back.
Huge. Exactly. That's huge.
That is huge. Yeah, go ahead.
Stidham, I was going to say, Stidham was literally being asked by two people who he's worked under his entire career. Like, no, dude, come here. No, come here. No, over here. No, New England. No, Denver. And he said, you know what? I'm staying in Denver. And I think that says a lot about him.
It does.
As a player and as a person.
The opposite of Brandon Cooks. It's like, no, we actually, like, yeah, it's the same thing with an employer. Like, if you leave a job and then they're calling you, wanting you back, that says a lot about you, you know, in some cases. In this case, it does, because we know that the New England Patriots are running a legit organization. It's not like the Browns were like, oh, we really want, you know, these people's opinions matter. I mean, Josh McDaniels might not be a good head coach, but he's a good play caller and he knows what he's doing offensively. So I think there's a reason that Sean was like, I'll pay you more money. And think of this. Why did Stidham stay? Well, I think he stayed because his best friend is on the team, and because he felt like if he stayed with Sean Payton would turn him into the greatest quarterback that he could be. And when an opportunity arose, he would be ready to capitalize. And what has he been doing the last 2 years while waiting for this hypothetical opportunity? Watching guys like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold go and go to Mike Shanahan
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden have this a massive success, and people go, how did he do that? And we all go, it's the Shanahan thing, it's the McVay thing. These are the gurus. Send your bad quarterbacks to the West Coast and they will heal them,
The
and
comeback
they'll
starters.
come back starters one game away from a Super Bowl. And why aren't we talking about Sean Payton like that? I mean, did he not make a guy that people said wasn't a first round pick? He's a third round pick at best, backup quarterback, low ceiling. I saw him outplay Josh Allen. Like, there's no more questions about Bo Nix. And even the biggest critics like Nick Wright even went on his air and he's like, I'm done. It's over. Like, your day of justice, Bronco fans. Like, there's no more to. I saw it. You know what I mean? Like, it's you got it. You got a franchise quarterback. Good for you guys. I was wrong, and I thought that was big of him. I really did. But it's also undeniable. So it's like, how could you have not come to that conclusion? And I'm thinking, with what Sean Payton's been able to do with Bo and what he's been able to do behind the scenes, this had to have been an evolving thing in the quarterback room, in practice.
Yeah.
And Stidham's been taking all these reps, and they even asked him in the press conference, are you worried because you haven't played in a real game this year? Now you're going into your first game and it's going at full speed. And he was like, we practice at full speed here. I don't know how you guys do it
everywhere else, but
like,
we take it seriously.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, like, how they do it other places. He's like, here in Denver, our practices are game speed. Like, so I'm very comfortable playing game speed. And then you got guys like Surtain and Riley Moss saying, like, we've known this whole time that Stidham has something. We play him every practice. We go up against Stidham. The way Stidham even carries himself is not typical from a backup. It's not like the typical underdog swagger. It's like I don't even know how I got here swagger. Like, I don't even know how I'm a backup. I'm too good to be a backup. Too confident to be an underdog, but too humble to be arrogant. Like, he's just waiting patiently. And unfortunately, his opportunity is coming up. With a one win takes you to a Super Bowl. I mean, this is like one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in my life. And it's personally affecting my team. I've never seen anything like this. Have you seen a player go down in this way, where it's like, okay, he got his team to a conference championship and he's not playing in it?
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
I can't. Honestly, like, I don't think this has ever happened where, like you said, the guy plays a whole year, plays in the divisional, gets him to the conference, and then is immediately ruled out. Like, I've seen wide receivers, I've seen running backs, like you kind of see, right now on some teams, but never the quarterback.
Which is weird. Why has this not happened more? It's
yeah. And honestly, like, what happened to Bo was like probably one of those, like, I mean, it is one of those in a million type of situations where, like I was saying, the guy plays the entire year. He plays in a home playoff game against a quarterback in Josh Allen that everyone in the media was saying this is his opportunity. He's going to go to the Super Bowl finally. No Mahomes, no Lamar, no Joe Burrow.
Easiest path ever.
And then he ran into one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best coaches in the league, and a quarterback who doesn't quit even with a broken ankle on that last drive. And then you just said it. Nick Wright said, well, I got nothing else to say. And unfortunately, what happens to Bo Nix happens. And I agree that no one better. There's no other backup quarterback that I can think of that I would probably want in this situation. I will say my first thing wouldn't be to go Jarrett Stidham, but there's really no other quarterback who has had the type of career that Jarrett Stidham has had under the same guys in terms of offensive play callers for his entire career.
That's what this is all about. I mean,
it's a good decision.
yeah, like this isn't about like Jared Stidham is so much. Well, okay. The guys that know the most about the quarterback position are the people that coach the best quarterbacks in the world. So one of those guys was on air on NFL Network saying, I think if Jared Stidham plays the way I know he's capable of playing, this is I swear I'm not making this up, and I'll even put a link to the YouTube video under this in the comments. I don't think it's that much different than Drake May if he plays a good game. Like that's how high I am on Stidham, and he's like, I'm not even going to go in the comments and reply to you guys. I'll be there Monday. I'll see you guys Monday because I'm going to wait. And you'll see kind of a thing, which is weird because that's the exact word Sean Payton said, not like days after when he had to process. He said this 25, 30 seconds into breaking the news. And he said, you know, Stidham, his exact words were, watch out. And you'll see, like, here we go. That's it. That's exactly what he said. Here we go. So like, this is not like a team in mourning. This is a very optimistic coach. But like you said, it's not as much about the talent for me. It's about the continuity, the timing of the receivers. These are all things you can't just throw Phillip Rivers in the game and like, you know, he could.
I love that that's an option and people say, why don't you get Phillip Rivers? Did you see him in the last 2 games against on the Colts? No. Why would I want a guy 20 years older than my current backup who's been under the same head coach for the last 3 years?
Right.
Why?
Who, for what it's worth, like the last time we saw him with the Raiders, he had 2 games that he played late in the season. And remember, he had that shootout where he threw for like 500 yards against the 49ers.
Wow, I didn't know that. No.
And the 49ers won like 39-38. And then the next week, he lost again in a shootout, but threw for like 400 yards against the Chiefs. Those were the 2 teams that went to the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
And then Stidham's been like shut down since. It's a very like exciting situation. He had like a 1 game where he came in against the Chargers when they benched Russ, but Stidham was just like, that was his first year in Denver. And if there's anything I've learned from like Sean is like, it takes a while for this really. I remember those early season games. Like,
I bet
it takes a long time for these quarterbacks to get it. But like once they get it and they know how to like, okay, this is what Sean wants to do. This is the why. This is where I'm going. Quarterbacks become unstoppable. And Sean's track record, whether you're talking about Teddy Bridgewater or Jameis Winston, all these backups. I remember Drew Brees going down one year. And it was not like a season-ending thing, and Teddy Bridgewater had to come in, and he went 5-0. That's what led to Teddy Bridgewater getting like a starting gig the following season. So like, Sean has always excelled, and he's already chasing this. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, he'll be the first head coach ever to win a Super Bowl with 2 teams, 2 Super Bowls with 2 different teams. But if he does it with a backup quarterback,
insane.
We are talking about, if you really take a like the last 3 years and you also look at his whole career and look at what New Orleans has been since he left, which matters, right? Because you know how you said, like, if a quarterback went to a good organization, who knows what could have been, like Stafford? Well, who knows what Sean could have been if he went to a better organization than the Saints? I mean, the Saints were the joke. They were the Aints. They wore bags over their face.
Bags over their head, yep.
I mean, and he gave him a Super Bowl in 3 years. And then NFC championships, and he was robbed in 2 of them. And then he left, and they're nothing. And then he goes to Denver, where there's good ownership, there's good general managers, and there's resources, and we're like, wow, what if he was here this whole time? I mean, could you imagine the run we might have gone on? We feel like the run we're getting up, like we feel like we're ahead of schedule still, and we're just now getting our money back. Like, this is not a team that's like, this is our last shot, you know, which is another thing that keeps our hopes up, because it's a little different when it's like John Elway 38 goes down in an AFC championship game. this is a very young team that for the next decade is really on track to be in these games.
Yeah.
So things are optimistic on that front. But for Sean Payton, I think if he pulls this off, he kind of cements himself as one of the all-time great head coaches historically. I mean, and then it's debated like, okay, but is he better than this guy? Is he better than Bill Belichick? And now we're having those conversations. And I just think for Sean Payton, like, I don't think that's like the fuel. I think the game, he loves it enough to be motivated. He doesn't need that. But I don't think he's like naive to what's at stake here for his reputation if he does pull this off. Now, the reason I'm taking the Denver Broncos to beat the New England Patriots.
What? You are?
Is because, first off, I haven't even thought New England's looked good in the postseason this year. I've seen 2 games, and they haven't looked good. Drake May's looked mediocre at best.
Yeah.
The Texans, they did everything that they could have done to win that game. CJ Stroud refused to throw a ball to his own team.
CJ Stroud was ass. Capital ass.
So bad. So, like, you got this team now, and this is very much reminiscent of 2015, Super Bowl 50. And now we're in, let me plug this thing back in.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in Super Bowl 60. 10 years later, we win the Super Bowl in Santa Clara in 50. Super Bowl's in Santa Clara today. And I look at all of this, I guess, there it is. I look at all of these, the synchronicities, and I can't help but feel destiny. I can't help but think, like, my son was born this year. Like, I felt this way all year. I really have. And the way it's happening is miraculous, because we had the last time we were the 1 seed in the divisional round at home playing an important game. Just the last time that happened was against the Ravens when they threw the Hail Mary. It felt like when Josh Allen threw that ball and McMillan intercepted it, it was like the opposite of the Hail Mary. It was like we were all healed from that play. And it's like, is there something magical about playing in Denver right now where it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, the football gods are just on our side this year. And there's no Drake May that's coming in to steal the thunder. It's going to be too crazy. There's Patriot fans bitching because the Broncos Ticketmaster, Patriot fans can't buy the tickets. I don't know if you've heard this.
That's been happening across the league, across all sports too. They do that. They're saying
you have to have a Broncos area code connected to your debit card. And I'm like, can we stop acting like that's the only way to get a ticket? You could go to the stadium and get a ticket, you know? I need tickets. Okay, here you go. So but still, like, they want to buy them through Ticketmaster. I get it. But still, it's like, no, we don't owe you shit. We owe our fans the tickets. Our fans are the ones. It's like, well, I want to go. Okay, host your own, get the 1 seed, and then you can host a playoff game. And then you stop us from buying tickets like you did. What was that, 5 years ago when they did that? So it's like, everybody does this in these games. So the energy is going to be crazy. But I think the reason this team's going to win is not because Stidham's going to go out and throw for, I think he could throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but that's not what I'm thinking like is the most likely. I think what's most likely to happen is the defense now understands the same thing they understood in 2015, is that Peyton Manning can't, like, we have to do this. This is on us. Like, this is not on Stidham, right? It's just not. It's on the fans. It's on the defense. And it's mostly on Sean Payton to call an amazing game plan. Like, these people need to be the heroes on Sunday. But the defense, man, Drake May, he's been struggling with that Texans defense, but they didn't have the ability offensively to counter what New England was doing. So it was just like a wasted effort almost defensively by Houston.
I would agree.
But this is what Drake May is going to be going up against. Look at this.
10. Allen steps, throws, pass caught, and the tight end takes a wicked shot from.
Woo!
That hit.
Hufanga.
That hit. This is a vicious defense, dude. Like, and they've stepped it up since the playoffs have started. Like, they're playing at their highest level. Now, they gave up a bunch of yards, but if they take the ball away 5 times, I don't care, because that gives us the 5 extra possessions. In Buffalo, for all it's worth, like, they scored 2 touchdowns the entire game. So I don't know. Like, is that really that like backbreaking? I mean, I'm thinking Buffalo was the harder opponent. I really do think, like, if we got past Buffalo, we were going to be able to get past the Texans or the Patriots. Now, things changed with Bo Nix, but how much do they change when you got a young Patriots team, the coaching staff, a ton of Super Bowl experience as players and coaches with McDaniels, but the players don't. And Drake May's been at home for these games. This is his first road game. Are we really expecting Drake May to just come into Denver and beat the Broncos? Like, with the amount of, like, this defense is doing it for Bo, the offense is doing it. It seems overwhelming, doesn't it?
It does. And with all that being said, give me the Patriots by 7. No, I'm just kidding. I totally agree. Drake May has gone up against 2 pretty damn good defenses in the Chargers and the Texans. And while he's come away somewhat unscathed, you look at the box score and you're like, nothing's impressing. You know,
139 yards.
Yeah. And I think this is the one time where, is he winning? Yeah. Is he 2-0 in the playoffs right now? Yes, that is a fact. You cannot dispute that. But a lot of the talk during the season was, well, I mean, who's Drake May going up against? What defenses is he going up against? Now you're kind of seeing what he would do against top tier defenses, and it's not much. And while you look at Herbert and you look at CJ Stroud and you're like, well, they didn't do anything. And they didn't do any favors to their defense in the games that they played. I mean, he won both games by a combined of 14 points or, something like that. It's not much. Yeah, it's 2 touchdowns, but it's not much when you really look at the games and stuff.
And how bad were the Chargers?
And how bad were the Chargers? And how bad was CJ Stroud? Like, any team that has a average offense, you're not looking at the Patriots right now in the AFC Championship. I'm sorry, you're not. For as much stuff as the 2 wins that they have, which is impressive for a second-year quarterback and a first-time head coach of the Patriots, not a first-time head coach, but variable for the Patriots. You're just kind of like, okay, well, they clung on and they won. I don't know. Even if they make it to the Super Bowl, it's going to be a very, very tough go against the Rams or the Seahawks, regardless, right?
So, I mean, imagine Stidham goes against the team that drafted him in the Super Bowl.
Dude, it would be insane. This defense, I will say, for the Broncos, they're so good. That hit you just saw by Hufanga, the interception of Brandon Cooks. Yeah. Oh, it hurts. It hurts watching it. Like, I'm like, if I take a hit like that, I'm out for at least 7 years. Like, no questions about it. But Drake May, if the last 2 games are any indication, he might be able to survive. But
of course,
Stidham and that offense, you have weapons on there. Stidham is not.
We got J.K. Dobbins back.
And you have J.K. Dobbins back. I can't believe that Stidham will play as bad as Herbert or will play as bad as C.J. Stroud. And these are 2 guys who have won Offensive Rookie of the Year, have passed for 5,000 yards in their first year in the league, and have been consistently, like, not turning the ball over in their career with Herbert, right? More than C.J. Stroud. I just cannot believe that Stidham's going to do that with much time as he's been in the league and under the same system over the last 3 seasons. Like, I just can't believe that. He's got Courtland Sutton, the guy who makes these ridiculous catches. And I called it during that game last week. I was like, he's going to have a ridiculous catch. And he did. He had a ridiculous catch on the sidelines. It wasn't a touchdown, but it was a sideline. It was an insane one. You got J.K. Dobbins back. You're hoping R.J. Harvey kind of continues to play as well as he played last week. And really throughout the season, like late season, it was really starting to come together. And the offensive line for the Broncos, it's one of the best ones in the league, and it has been over the past 2-3 seasons, probably.
And we got our center back this week.
And the center's back. And I mean, what else is there to say about the defense, man? The defense is absolutely ridiculous, led by Surtain, Benito, Zach Allen, Hufanga, and Dre Greenlaw are the new additions that just elevated this defense. The Patriots have work cut out for them, and they've proven that they can go up against really tough defenses and come out with a win. It's going to be different. It's going to be different in Denver because they've been playing at home. It's going to be different in Denver. It just is. The mile high, the air, the fact that you're a mile above the water, the sea level, that's going to be affecting Drake May and that entire Patriots team. I think they are underestimating Stidham. Like Milton, I forget his name. The one of the defensive tackles for the Patriots was asked, "How much do you know about Jared Stidham?" He's like, "Nothing, to be honest, nothing." They think Bo's a better quarterback than him, so we're gonna watch tape and we're gonna figure out how to go against him. So I feel like there's a little bit of underestimating going on from the Patriots.
Oh yeah,
this is one of the toughest. I think this is easily the toughest game I've probably had to predict, because the Patriots over the last 2 games have come out against really good defenses. They've won. And the Broncos just beat a team who has been in the playoffs consistently over the last 6-7 years, and a quarterback who is similar to Bo Nix, or vice versa, where they will do whatever it takes and put their body on the line to win this game. And they came out with an overtime dub when it seemed like it was going to be lost. Right? And this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. Give me the Broncos by 3. Give me the Broncos by 3. Let's ride, baby. Broncos, let's ride into the Super Bowl to Santa Clara, West Coast. They're going West Coast, baby.
To get revenge on the Seahawks from the 8-43 game.
Give me the Broncos, Seahawks, Super Bowl.
I love it. And the last thing I'll say about this is, you're right. The public has been the biggest. I don't think the Patriots are going to underestimate us, because I think they are well coached. But the public has already been saying, like, no team has an easier path to the Super. Like, they've already crowned the Patriots like they're in the Super Bowl. Yeah. The line opened up at 3.5, and in one day it got moved to 4.5, which is unheard of. So, like, all of this money is coming in on the Patriots, and I find it a little interesting that everyone's so sure about this. And as the professionals have been talking about this game, I think the line's going to come back down, because nobody's really like on board with like the Patriots just cruising through Mile High. No one. I mean, it's like, I haven't heard one person be like, yeah, this is not going to be a problem, besides like fans that know nothing, like the fans are thinking that, no one else, So I think it's great. And I'll leave with this. Sean did guarantee that we're going to win. And a lot of people didn't see it, but here it is. And then they asked Mike Vrabel about it. Take a listen.
For about the past month, you've had a message to fans every single week about noise. Do you have a message for them this week with it being the final game?
Well, they're going to have plenty of rest after this one. 2 weeks.
This was taken out of context, but Coach Payton was quoted as saying that fans in Denver would have 2 weeks to rest up after the AFC Championship before screaming their heads off to the Super Bowl. Do you believe in bulletin board material?
I think we're plenty motivated for the game. I think that our players are continuing to build confidence through the week. So I'm really excited to go out there and play.
Mike, how would you?
Woo! Woo!
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And
The cockiness, I gotta say, I love cockiness. I do. I like the confidence, not necessarily being an asshole, but confidence that Sean Payton exudes. I love that from coaches, and I love that from players.
is there anything more important than having confidence in this situation, though? I mean, if you're Stidham and you see that, you're like, I mean, my coach really believes in me. Like, holy crap! Like, he just said that. Like, I'm really him. You
And
know?
he said it relaxed. He said it as if you and I are having a conversation
Yeah, he
in a
did.
living room. Like, yeah, man, we're gonna have 2 weeks to chill out after this, so that's gonna be nice.
Yeah,
And
because
it's
the
like,
question, a lot of
that's
people
awesome.
didn't hear the question, but it was like every week Sean's had a message to our fans. One week it was, don't wait for the lineup to start screaming, do it in the huddle. We're going to need you louder. So they said, what's the message to the fans this week? You know, you've had a message every week. And he was like, well, I need you to be really loud again. But, you know, you're going to have 2 weeks of rest after this one, you know?
There you go.
And I'm like, I love it. I love it. I would rather go down like that anyway. If we're going down, we're going
100%.
down like that. And
100%.
you get it because your coach has been like that this year too. So
Mhm.
I love it. I can't tell you how excited I am. It's sad, but I've kind of turned it and just accepted it.
Mhm.
And all I can say is the first snap of that game with Stidham under center. Has there ever been a more mysterious moment in the history of the NFL of like what is going to happen here?
That's
Like
exactly what Crafty's saying. Yep.
it's so exciting and terrifying at the same time. It's like, but put yourself in Stidham's shoes. Like, you haven't
Oh,
played
yeah.
in all these years, and now the whole entire world is watching you. The Broncos Buffalo game was the most viewed playoff game ever. It just came out today. It was, I think, 61 million views. And this one is going to be a huge one. And Stidham, he's never played anything remotely in the ballpark of this.
No.
And now
No.
it's like, here you go. It's a
Ooh.
dream. It's a backup's dream, isn't it? Like,
Mhm.
so I just think like that all by itself is just like what sells this game. Like, I think people that don't care about Denver or New England are going to turn it on to see like what happens.
I can say we're gonna stream this game, and I am gonna be basically on the edge of my seat the entire game unless some crazy just lopsided win happens. But I am gonna be on the edge of my seat because, like I said, this is a tough one for me to predict just because of all the things, all the wheels that are spinning, I guess you could say, in this game and on each team and how they've performed and all these other things. But this is easily one of the most difficult games I've predicted. And Kyle, do you want to get into
Get off the bus.
get off the bus? I'm gonna let you go first. Kyle,
All right.
who needs to get off the bus to win this game?
It's simple. In order to win this game, J.K. Dobbins, who got injured, and a lot of people were disappointed because J.K. Dobbins is a typical guy that you're like, the what if of injuries. Like, this is a guy that is elite when he's healthy. He was averaging over 6 yards a carry with the Chargers last year until he got hurt. Denver activated him. Zach was on the field today watching him practice, and he said J.K. Dobbins looked great. Full speed, no problem, cutting. Like, he's definitely playing in this game, which is crazy because when he got injured, because it was that hip drop tackle, and he got injured, and he was like, I'll be back. But the only way he was ever going to be back was if Denver made it this far in the season. And we did. So now, J.K. Dobbins, we need you to do a lot more than you expected when you thought you were coming back for this game, because we don't have our quarterback on the field, and we're going to need to run the football, and we're going to need to do it well. Like, we need to and think about it. Our biggest problem in the postseason has been we can't really run the ball. Like, Sean has to compensate a lot because we just don't have like Barkley, McCaffrey,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with J.K. Dobbins, before he got injured, which was like week 11, he was third in rushing yards. The only two running backs that were better was Jonathan Taylor, who was an MVP candidate at the time, and James Cook, who ended up leading the NFL in rushing yards. So that's where J.K. Dobbins was. And now we're getting that back. And I don't think people understand just what that does. Not just for this game, but if there's a next one, what it does for that one as well. Like you can't win the Super Bowl without a running game. And we really didn't have one. But with J.K. Dobbins back, we do. So he needs to get off the bus in a big way.
Get off the bus, JK. I was going to say the same thing. I was going to go with two on mine, and one of them was the running game. More so RJ Harvey, JK Dobbins kind of combination there to get off the bus. But for me, on the Patriots side, who needs to get off the bus? Crafty's got a good one. Whoever's lined up opposite of May's left tackle. But I'm going to go with May himself. Drake May himself needs to get off that bus, ready to go up against one of the top defenses in the league again, and actually, perform well. Give a performance where not only Patriots fans, but NFL fans can kind of get some confidence from that. If you're going to head into the Super Bowl, you can't be limping in there with a 13-7 win in which you threw less than 200 yards with one pick, one touchdown, and like two fumbles. That's not the type of game you need to have, Drake. You got to go in there. You've got to play way better than what you've been playing, but it's going to be tough. You're going up against a guy like Surtain, who you could basically say goodbye to your wide receiver one with that guy covering him. You're going to go up against a guy with named Benito, named Zach Allen, named Dre Greenlaw, named Hufunga. You're going to be under pressure all game. And guess what? They have 2 games of film in this very playoffs where they know they're going to put the pressure on you and you're going to fold. You've got to be better than that, Drake May. You have got to be able to come above that and get the ball to your receivers, get the ball to your playmakers, because that's the only way that the Patriots are going to be able to win this game. So Drake May, get off the bus, although I don't think you will. Give me the Broncos by 3.
It's Friday. The game's in 2 days.
Let's go, baby.
Man, what a game. What a stream. It felt like a game. I was loving that. All right. Well, that was our predictions. So you and me were riding with the Broncos. We rode this far. And we're split on the Seahawks and the 49ers. I'm sorry, the Seahawks and the Rams. And that's cool because it's nice to have one disagreement at least. Where
and I'll be right, but that's what it is.
That's exactly why. But yeah, it should be a really, really good time, man. This weekend, it's like,
oh yeah.
And both games are on Sunday now. Okay, there's a big snowstorm coming through for me. And this is something
that's right.
to like watch out for because we're talking maybe losing power. Now, if
no.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, destiny. I can't
miss it.
It won't allow it. The
there
universe
will be no power lost.
But in the case that I do, I work now at a hotel, and they were like, well, you could stay, because I was scheduled Saturday, Sunday, and I was like, I need to cut out at 1:30 because I was scheduled at 3:30 on Sunday. And they were like, what for? And I was like, my son's getting baptized. So I told Mary, I was like, call the preacher. He's got to come baptize Bo at our house.
Whatever it takes. This is real NFL fandom, baby. This is real NFL fandom.
Now I'm thinking, if I do work, then they're going to give me a room. I guarantee myself a chance to watch the game, or do I risk it? I don't know, but just bear with me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a fluid situation over here. And hopefully the weather's not as bad as we think. We got firewood in case we lose power.
Nice.
Thankful for a
Nice.
fire pit, a real fire pit here. But we'll see what happens.
Well,
but
it's going to be fake, Kyle. There's nothing that's going to stop you from watching that game. I forbid that snowstorm to cut off any power and to let you watch that game. So because
that
I
would
said
be
that,
so cruel. Just imagine me like in the void. I would have no idea. I would have no internet, no phone. I'm nowhere near the game. Imagine that happening to the Bears. You have no clue. What?
Oh,
did you
dude,
win?
you know what? You know what I'll do? If it gets to that point, I will FaceTime you
Yeah.
with my phone pointed at my TV
Oh,
while calling the game on stream.
okay.
So
I'm so glad there's a backup plan.
we've got backup. Technology is advanced to where we can do this. So Championship Sunday is going to be a good one. It is going to be exciting. The Broncos are one game away from the Super Bowl. The Seahawks and the Rams are a division foe in the NFC Championship game. So this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a really, really good Championship Sunday. One of the best ones, I think, in recent years. So everybody gear up because we are going to be streaming Broncos and Patriots on Sunday. I'm going to go over to my buddy's house again for the Seahawks game because I'm the lucky charm now, I guess.
2 o'clock my time.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you guys, everybody, for being here. Ginger, Crafty, Lil E, we had Nick in here, Daniel Barry. Thank you guys so much for being here. Get ready for Sunday. It is gonna be a good one. And Kyle, let's ride and always a good time, brother.
Go Broncos. Love you, Bill.